Welcome to the September 21st meeting of the Daytona Beach City Commission. We're delighted to have each of you with us this evening. And at this time, Ms. LaMagna will give us a roll call.
Commissioner Cantu,
Here.
Commissioner Henry,
Present.
Commissioner Reed, Commissioner Traeger,
Here.
Commissioner Strickland,
Here.
Commissioner May, here, Mayor Derek L. Henry.
Here.
Okay. We'll now move on to item number 4, which is approval of the minutes of the August 17th, 2022 City Commission meeting.
So moved.
We have a motion from Commissioner Reed and a second from Commissioner May. Do we have any questions or comments? All right, hear none. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. At this time, our city manager will address the changes that are for the meeting, if there are any.
Yes. Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, under presentations, we're adding 6B, Chief Young, Mainland High School update. Item 10B, Sungate, voluntary annexation correction. The public hearing and final action is October 19th, not October 5th. Add item 10C, reconsideration of Battle of the Bays special event. That's all. Thank you.
Okay.
Motion to accept the agenda with the said changes.
Second.
We'll take a motion from Commissioner Reed and a second from Commissioner Traeger. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those who are opposed, same sign. This motion carries 7-0.
Okay. We're going to move on to item number 6, which is our presentations. And item 6A is the Beautification Tree Advisory Board Awards for September of 2022. A member of the Beautification Tree Advisory Board to present. Yes.
What happened to Ms. Hurd's paper that was up here? It was just a, gave me a, throw it in there in your paper.
No, there.
That's right here. Okay. I didn't know. I don't know how it got down there. Okay. Sorry about that, Ms. Hurd. Not your fault. Gave it to me, but I told her I don't read them.
I have one. Oh,
Oh, isn't that interesting? She's giving her brother-in-law an award. Former
Okay.
brother-in-law.
yes, please. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Henry, members of the City Commission, and City Manager Viacher. My name is Tricia Hurd, 822 Vernon Street, Zone 6 member. The Beautification Tree Advisory Board has selected Mr. Albert Williams Sr., 381 North Seneca Street, as the Residential Beautification Award winner for the month of September 2022. Albert has been a lifelong resident of Daytona Beach. I don't want to tell the history, and has resigned at the address for 17 years. Albert would like to thank Fred Carter, who is also here, for taking such good care in maintaining his lawn. The types of trees, shrubs, and plants used for beautification include queen palms, purple and white Mexican petunias, multicolor azaleas, red and lavender, climbing jasmine, hibiscus, which are red and yellow. City Commissioner Reed will be presenting the award.
Mr. Williams, your daughter Tanya Williams. And Fred, why don't you join them since they asked you to come and you keep them young? Come on.
He's right there, waiting for them to come up.
Mr. Williams is old school, y'all. He takes care of what's his, what God has given him. I asked Tan for some information regarding her father, and I think my number's right. 38 years in Volusia County School System.
Yes.
36 years at one school.
How the hell?
Coaching and volunteering, got a volunteer award for volunteering after he laid down the mantle on full-time work. He still gave of himself. And he's taking care of the yard that God has given him. Fred, I'm sorry. Fred is taking care of the yard that God has given him. This is a family that's been in Daytona for a long time. His daughter Tanya is my sorority sister. Her sister, the late Dr. Tanisha Williams, was my sorority sister. And their mom has gone on, everybody named Miss Daisy. Miss Heard, you didn't tell it, but this is her brother-in-law. And it's just a family that's well known within our community, and we are so thankful. We thank God that you're still with us and that we can honor you today. May I read this to you, sir? Certificate of Achievement. May it be known that this certificate has been presented to Albert Williams Sr. for distinguished achievement in residential beautification in the city of Daytona Beach. And it's presented on this 21st day of September 2022, signed by our mayor, the Honorable Derek L. Henry, and myself, Paula R. Reed. Congratulations, and thank you so much for
They're gonna take a picture right there.
So,
Yep.
all right, everybody get in the picture. Here's your award. And you want to get on this side of your hand?
You know, you don't know how to use your camera. What kind of phone you got? I use mine. They look, your pictures come out pretty good most of the time. You know, they want their big shot camera.
Everybody in.
I bought one of them big shot cameras. I don't never use it. I don't like it.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right, wait a minute.
Wait.
One more.
Say Fred.
All right. How they heal in the house.
Would you like to say anything, Mr. Williams?
He's not a man of many words.
To the mayor,
Yes, sir.
Derek, and all the commission, and I would just like to thank you all for this award, and I would cherish it forever. Thank you.
Thank you. Good man. A lot of good people in this community.
My Commissioner. Mayor Henry,
Yes, ma'am.
members of the City Commission, and City Manager Fieschi. The Beautification Tree Advisory Board has selected Westside Church of Christ for the Commercial Beautification Award winner for the month of September 2022. The Westside Church of Christ was established in 1973 and is an independent Christian church with practices and beliefs firmly rooted in the Bible. Reverend Chad Manning offers traditional worship services, Bible classes, and studies. The types of trees, shrubs, and plants used for beautification include oak trees, palm trees, Protus, society, garlic, orange hibiscus, Indian hawthorn, azalea, and a few others. This is located on Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune Boulevard, and it is always beautiful. Mayor Derek Henry will be presenting the award.
Did the recipient come forward? His wife? Thank you, sir. For a long time, this church has been a beautiful, pristine property. And its membership has always been a strong source of pride and inspiration in our community, toeing the line and making us a great city. Tonight was my first opportunity to meet you, and I'm delighted and honored to present this certificate of achievement. May it be known, this certificate has been presented to the West Side Church of Christ for distinguished achievement in commercial beautification, City of Daytona Beach, Florida. Presented this 21st day of September, signed by myself, Derek L. Henry, and the Honorable Paula R. Reed, Zone 6 Commission.
Anyone wants to go to Bible study, he's on his way to Bible study now.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to item 6B, which was added at the beginning of our meeting. It's a presentation by Chief Young.
Good evening, Commission, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Manager. Just kind of wanted to recap for everybody and give everybody an update on where we are as far as the incident that occurred on last Friday, September 9th at Mainland High School. At 12:37 p.m. on September 9th, we received a panic alarm from Mainland High School. And when we get those panic alarms, we really don't have a lot of time to try to decipher whether or not it is a legitimate threat or if it's a prank. So we responded in full force to Mainland High School. So I just want to take a minute to also thank all of our surrounding law enforcement agencies, because when we get an alarm like that, it's not just Daytona Beach Police Department, it's the sheriff's office, and it's all the other municipal agencies that also were coming code 3, lights and sirens, to Mainland High School. So once we got on campus, to realize that this was something that started in the cafeteria. So the majority of the students from the cafeteria made their way out to the front lawn of Mainland on the Speedway side to the north. And the first units on scene began to do what we were trained to do, which is to start to clear the buildings. So in our training, we're trained to respond to the sounds of gunfire. That's what kind of made Mainland's a little bit different. It made it a little bit more difficult because we could not hear any gunfire. So what we did was we responded there. We started to clear each building, and it was important that I circled back on Monday and explain this to the students because they don't know how we train. They don't know our tactics. So a lot of them could have been traumatized by what they experienced. So what we did was we ended up breaching some of the doors to gain access to the classrooms. Once we would clear a classroom, we would move on. And then once the entire building was cleared, we would come back. We do what's called a back flush. And during that back flush, all students were directed into the gymnasium. So probably about 20 to 30 minutes into the call, speaking with my incident commander, we felt fairly comfortable that there was no active shooter on campus, but we wanted to be safe. We wanted to be 100% positive, so we continued clearing each building. I point that out because had that been a legitimate threat, had there been someone that we had confronted on campus, we would not have allowed those students into the gym, because the goal would be to get them completely off of campus, because that entire campus would then become a crime scene. So that is what was discussed on the meeting. We had a follow-up meeting on Monday with members of the school board to include the president. It was a very productive meeting, and we talked about our strengths and our weaknesses as a result of that incident. Some of the strengths were we literally have the #1 trauma center in the area directly across the street in Halifax Hospital. We also have a college directly across the street in Daytona State. From a logistical standpoint, I think we, as police department, are some of the best in the business as far as moving people because of the practice that we get with the Daytona 500 and Coke 0400 and any other major event that we host at that speedway. There'll come a time where we hold traffic, both eastbound, westbound, and we flush all the pedestrians across International Speedway. So that was a good takeaway from the meeting we had on Monday with the school board, that in the event we had to respond up there for another emergency, prayerfully we never have to, but in the event that we do, the goal would be to shut down both eastbound and westbound ISP and flow all of those kids off of campus to Daytona State and then allow the reunification process to occur from Daytona State's campus. That's important because that was one of the things that was probably the most difficult part of the incident was just that, the reunification process, because all these kids have phones. Of course, they're going to contact their parents immediately. They're going to start texting. So you have the parents responding up there terrified because of some of the text messages they were receiving. So we get it because especially even when I address the students, I don't address them just as the police chief. I address them as a parent that also has 2 students in high school. So we get it. And that's why that was one thing that was really important that we cleared up with the school board is that unification process is going to happen whether we want it to or not. They're going to reunite with their parents as fast as they can. So I think now as a result of that, we've worked through those issues as far as the reunification process, as far as what's realistic versus what's not realistic in a situation like that. We also worked through some issues as far as the keys and being able to access certain classrooms. And again, all of that has been resolved. We're planning on responding to Seabreeze High School, Father Lopez High School, and some of the other schools, and just doing a walkthrough. In the event we have to respond to those locations like we did mainland, we want to know in advance, where do we want our command post to be? So we want to already have a mental picture in our head as to where that mobile command post should be, where the reunification process is going to take place, so on and so forth. So on the whole, I'm grateful just as everybody else is that it turned out to be a dry run. There were a lot of great takeaways from that dry run, and I'm very grateful to my team. My hat's off to the school resource officer that's assigned to Mainland High School, Officer Danny Peralta, because it was him that came up on the radio first, told us what he was dealing with, and he was able to direct the units onto campus to get to him, because the goal was to get to the school resource officer and then go from there. I'm also very grateful to the incident commander, Lieutenant Ray Oosterman, who he was the incident commander for that entire event. We were able to go back and listen to all the radio transmissions, about 48 minutes long, worth of radio transmissions to kind of see, what we could have done differently, what we could have done better. We had a big debrief last Friday, and we brought in everybody that was involved in that call, and that was important to do because everybody saw something a little bit differently. Everybody had a different experience. So it was important to get everybody together in the same room and take good notes so that we can do our after-action plan. So I think, again, on the whole, it was a stressful experience, but I was very proud of not just Daytona Beach Police Department, but all the responding units and fire rescue, EMS personnel. Everybody came together for, one big team, and I'm just glad that it worked out the way that it did.
Let me ask you, how do you all arrive at an incident commander? How does that role get assigned? Is it just based on who's in
It's,
route or has been trained for that?
yeah, more times than none, it's going to be the shift lieutenant, whoever the shift lieutenant is for that time period. Day shift, night shift, we consider them shift commanders. So 9 times out of 10, the shift commander will more than likely be the incident commander.
Okay.
But anyone above the lieutenant, whether it be the captain, the deputy chief, or myself, if we're close by, we can assume command if we decide to.
Okay. Thank you for doing a great job in on all fronts. Your team, but it's kind of hard to say how everyone has a feeling about what happened, whether you were involved in it or not. As I was, I'm sitting next to people who are literally sharing with me text messages that they're receiving that, I know are not accurate because I've already heard from you or your staff. I already know, or I've heard from the manager. This is not accurate information. And it's difficult in real time to tell someone that that's not true. That's not happening in the way that you think that it is. So you have to imagine, though, how much information is being disseminated, because if they got 1,500 students at Mainland or 2,000, 1,780 or 1,800 of them have a cell phone and are using it. There's only a very few of them that don't have that technology. And their message is going, and so your correspondence, which came from your staff, was spot on about educating all of us about how to try to respond to this. And just thank you for the level of professionalism and the commitment to keeping our children safe. And as you said, the children are also to be commended because overwhelmingly their response was what you would want it to be.
Right. So I went on Monday, and the principal was gracious enough to allow me to meet with each grade. I met with 9th graders first, about shortly after 9 a.m., followed by the sophomores, and then they brought in the juniors and seniors together. And it was truly a message of gratitude. I wanted to let them know that the overwhelming majority of those kids did exactly what we asked them to do. They were frightened, they were confused, but they complied. They did exactly what we needed them to do. They went where we told them to go, and they kept their composure. So it was important that we circled back on Monday, and I explained it to them exactly why we responded the way that we did. And then we also had the conversation about social media, because I saw everything that you guys were seeing with the multiple different stories about persons being shot and this one over here and this one over there. So the message there was simply, if you didn't see it yourself, don't repost it. If you didn't physically see it, don't repost it, because it's all about attention. People want to draw attention to their social media pages, so they're posting stuff that they don't know is true. They're posting stuff just because they heard someone else say it. And that's part of the follow-up investigation. As we identified students that are involved and we interviewed them, a lot of them, that was their response was, well, that's what somebody told me. So that's what they posted. So the education piece was, if you see something or you hear something, please send it to us. Send it to the police department so that we can investigate it versus just reposting it on your personal page. And we had the conversation about overall decision-making, because some of these kids that think this is funny and think, a prank like this is something they need to be engaging in are going to end up ruining their careers and jeopardizing their futures as far as getting into colleges, so on and so forth. So all of those conversations were had.
Okay, great. Again, great job.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to item number 7. During this time, citizens have the opportunity to address the city commission on any item on the consent agenda, and I don't have any speakers for the consent agenda.
All right. Motion to approve. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? All right, we have a motion from Commissioner May and a second from Commissioner Strickland. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
So we're going to move on to item number 9, which is our public hearings, and item number 9A is the City Manager's Office fiscal year 2022-23 property taxes and budget for the City of Daytona Beach. Item number 1 is a public hearing, and members of the general public may speak on the proposed millage rate and fiscal year budget. And I don't have anyone signed up to speak on this item.
All right, Fred?
I'm just here to do the legally required thing and talk to you for a minute. Basically, what the law says is I have to explain to you what the difference is between the rollback rate and rate we're doing, and basically why we had to go above rollback. The difference between the rollback rate and what we're actually charging is less than the additional costs of all the public safety officers that we've added to the budget between the adopted budget last year and the budget this year. So that's why we're above rollback. We have to pay for those salaries.
Based from our discussion at the last commission meeting, we did go down a tenth
yes.
of a mil.
Oh, yes, what we're bringing is a budget that's 5.43 as opposed to 5.53, which is what we had last week, which is what you directed me. This, by the way, it did affect the CRA budget a little bit too by dropping it about 60
Excuse me.
grand. That's about 60 grand, I think, the CRA between all 5 of the funds because they get a percentage of the budget. All I'm supposed to do is sit there and say the rollback rate is 5.0103. We're 8.38% above the rollback rate, and the rate that we brought to you is 5.4300, and the debt rate is 0.2038. That's all I've got for you.
Let us say it legally, okay. Do we have,
Okay.
I just want to say, can I say?
Yes, I'm sorry.
I just want to say thank you for lowering it just a little bit. It sends a message that we do listen to our residents, and we do try to do the best we can for them.
Okay, so I'm going to move on to item 9A3, which is the resolution. So this is a resolution determining the amount and fixing the rate of taxation and making the annual property ad valorem levy in the amount of 5.300 per $1,000 of non-exempt assessed value for general fund operations of the City of Daytona Beach for fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2023, which represents a 8.38% tax rate increase from the rollback rate of 5.0103 and the voted debt service millage of 0.2038 and providing an effective date.
So moved.
we have a motion from Commissioner Henry and a second from Commissioner Reed. Do we have any questions or comments? All right, all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
I'm going to move on to 9A4, which is a resolution adopting the budget for fiscal year October 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2023 for the City of Daytona Beach, prescribing the net sources of revenue in the estimated amount of $324,353,960, setting forth expenditures and transfers in the amount of $324,353,960, of which operating expenditures total $238,241,415, transfers $60,076,957, and capital expenditures $26,035,588, and providing an effective date.
So moved.
We have a motion from Commissioner Henry and a second from Commissioner Reed. Have any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay. And at this point, we'll adjourn for the,
DDA.
yes.
All right, we will adjourn briefly for the DDA to do their scheduled business, and then we will reconvene. Let us reconvene our regularly scheduled commission meeting.
We're going to continue on with our public hearings. And item 9C, this is the Development Administrative Services Planning Division, CARES, voluntary annexation. This is an ordinance on second reading, public hearing. An ordinance annexing into the City of Daytona Beach one parcel containing 67.5 plus or minus acres of land, generally located west of Williamson Boulevard, east of Interstate 95, and approximately 0.3 miles south of Williamson Boulevard and Bellevue Avenue intersection at 1094 South Williamson Boulevard, redefining the territorial boundaries of the city of Daytona Beach to include the property, redesignating the boundaries of Zone 4 of the city of Daytona Beach to include the property, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Cantu and second from Commissioner Traeger.
And I do have Ms. Jessica Gao here on behalf of the applicant.
Florida. I'm here on behalf of Karis Acquisitions. It's an annexation, future land use map, and rezoning of about 67 acres from the county into the city for an industrial warehouse storage and distribution use. I'm really here to just answer any questions. We can do probably all three items, this one if that's okay. And then for the record, we do have tonight with us Jim Ford with the development team, and then Chris Rowley and Jake Stair with Zef Cohen and Associates, if you guys have technical questions. And just for Tish, 9D says that we are here on behalf of Event Equipment Leasing in Southeastern Hay. Well, we do represent them. We're not representing them tonight, so that should say Karis Acquisitions. And if you have any questions, happy to answer them.
Just have one question, just to make sure the ingress and egress, we know has to come up Williamson, but the traffic was going to be going I-4 and 92, it kind of mixed.
Yes, I say we'll touch on that. So this property is just on the other side of the dog track. And so the access right now is going to line up exactly with the extension that's planned for the Amazon project, Project Hillwood. We think a signal will go there. Kimberly Horner's our traffic engineers on this. They've already looked at truck distribution and vehicle distribution. And all of the vehicles will use Williamson Boulevard. They will either go down to Bevel and then up towards the I-4 interchange, or a few of them, but not as many, will go up towards the Bellevue Avenue to Mocha Farms. But they will not go through the Amazon site or anything like that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, and we want to see more distribution and more warehouses and more jobs, so thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
Ms. Mayor, I would just like to say that I have worked with Mr. Ford previously in the other cities that I represented as city manager, so I do have a working relationship with him and the work that he does.
All right, good deal.
And for the record, I don't have any other speakers on this item.
Thank you.
We have a motion, we have a second, no additional questions?
Looks like you may have a speaker right there.
You signed up to speak on this item?
You signed up on 9E, which was the rezoning. So this is the voluntary annexation. So if you'd like to speak on this item, you can speak on this item.
Good evening, City Commission, Mayor, City Manager. On the
State your name, please.
voluntary,
State your
Titus
name,
L.
please.
Ratcliffe. I'm a veteran of the Daytona Beach area, been here all my life. And I would speak in behalf of being positive for Ms. Gold and what they're trying to do with that piece of property out there. I'm actually interested in purchasing it, maybe in the future or something, try to work something out. But as far as annexation to the city, I would like to see the city grow so that there can be more jobs. And what I would try to do if I was able to purchase the property, would try to create some jobs with a nonprofit business there, dealing in repairing of trucks and things of that nature, dealing in transportation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate that. All right, we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those who are opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, we'll move on to item 9D. It's the Karis Large-Scale Comprehensive Plan Amendment. This is an ordinance on second reading, public hearing. An ordinance adopting a large-scale comprehensive plan amendment in accordance with Chapter 163, Part 2 Florida statutes, adopting an amendment to the future land use map, changing the future land use designation of 67.5 plus acres of property generally located west of Williamson Boulevard, east of Interstate 95, and approximately 0.3 miles south of the Williamson Boulevard and Bellevue Avenue intersections, from AC1 Volusia County Activity Center Industrial and ACTC Activity Center Tourist Commercial to GI General Industrial, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith and providing an effective date.
So move.
We have a motion from Commissioner Cantu and a second from Commissioner May.
And I do have Ms. Jessica Gao here for any questions on this item.
All right, no questions. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
We'll move on to item 9E. It's the Karis Plan Development General, PDG rezoning. This is an ordinance on second reading, quasi-judicial hearing. An ordinance amending the zoning map of the Land Development Code to rezone 67.5 plus or minus acres of property generally located west of Williamson Boulevard, east of Interstate 95, and approximately 0.3 miles south of Williamson Boulevard and Bellevue Avenue intersection, 1094 South Williamson Boulevard, from Volusia County A2 Rural Agriculture to PDG Plan Development General, approving the Karis Plan District Agreement, authorizing industrial development of the property, primarily intended to accommodate warehouse, storage, and distribution, limited office, and transportation-related uses, subject to certain conditions, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the agreement, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
So moved.
I have a motion from Commissioner Cantu and a second from Commissioner May.
Okay, and I do have Ms. Jessica Gao here on behalf of the applicant. And Mr. Radcliffe, this was the item that you originally signed up for. Did you want to speak on this, or are you? Okay.
My name is Titus L. Ratcliffe. Ms. Gow, you said special circumstances or special exemption for the property? A special permission that you mentioned, that they mentioned? Was that, she was reading Ms. Alamango? Special circumstances or?
Okay. You can always speak to
Ms.
the
Gao?
applicant after the,
Okay,
yeah.
all right, thank you very much.
That was my only other speaker, Mr. Mayor.
All right, we have a motion
I
and a
was-
second.
Did we have a motion already?
Yeah.
I was just interested, in they say they're removing 8 historic trees. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Good evening again. For the record, Jessica Gallicob Law Firm, 149 South Ridgewood Avenue. I get faster every time I say it. We are requesting removal of historic trees on site. If you see the conceptual development plan that's included in your packet, those trees are highlighted. This property is mostly empty field. Just about the only thing on there are trees. They are very large trees. And so we are able to preserve 7 additional historic trees that are on the site there along the interstate, but there are 7 that have direct conflicts with where the drive aisles and parking areas for the site are located. And if we were to skinny it up and, move parking, it would still be close enough to the impervious area where their root systems wouldn't, be successful. And so that's the reason for the request.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jessica, could you explain exactly, so we have it on record, what the Karis project is and what they
Sure.
have in store? Is there something? Just
Absolutely.
a quick summary.
Yeah, sorry, Siri was interrupting you. I say, so Karis Acquisitions, and Jim, you can come up and add if you would like. This project is entitling the site for general industrial uses consistent with the land use. We're looking at a warehouse storage and distribution use. What Karis does is they specialize in what we call cold storage. And so it is refrigerated storage areas for different uses. And it can be used for a wide variety of either a single user who has a cold storage component where they need to store food and beverages, or that could be built out bigger and leased out to different tenants.
And you supply the food to different grocery stores?
That's one potential use. I would say,
Okay, could you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
of course. Thank you.
All right. Do we have any other questions? Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those in opposition, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 9F, which is Development Administrative Services Planning Division, First Amendment to Midwest Transit PD Plan Development General. This is an ordinance on second reading, quasi-judicial hearing. An ordinance approving the First Amendment to the Midwest Transit, Inc. Planned Master Development Agreement to expand the areas within the property where light industrial and retail commercial uses are permitted, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the First Amendment to the PD agreement, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
So move.
All right, we have a motion from Commissioner Cantu and a second from Commissioner May.
And I do have Mr. Rob Merrill on behalf of the applicant for any questions.
I just have one question.
Not as fast as Ms. Gow. Rob Merrill for the record, 149 South Ridgewood. Yes, ma'am.
This property was originally zoned in 2014, am I correct?
It still is. We're just moving some things around.
Okay.
We're just making an amendment to move some of the uses around. We don't know why we restricted ourselves that way originally, and nobody else seems to know, so we've got some prospects coming in, and we're doing the amendment for that.
Thank you.
Can you keep the mic in front of you? There's a lot
Yeah,
of
can you hear me now?
what is up like
Okay.
that.
But I am going to remind people not to shout from the audience at the commissioners. Thank you.
Is your red light on?
Yeah, it's
No,
on.
it's not on. It's just a matter of
It is on.
move
Yeah.
it away. The red light is on.
Okay. Well, my question was, if anyone couldn't hear, was this property already zoned in 2014? And he answered. Thank you.
It was and still is, yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those who are opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 9G, which is the Development Administrative Services Planning Division, Non-Residential Canopy Development Standards. This is Land Development Code Text Amendment. This is an ordinance on second reading, public hearing. An ordinance amending the City Land Development Code, Article 5, Section 5.3, Accessory Uses and Structures, to modify the use-specific standards for non-residential canopies, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing directions to the codifier and providing an effective date.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
And for the record, I have no speakers for this item.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any questions or comments? All right, all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, I'm going to move on to item 9H. It's the Development Administrative Services Planning Division, Daytona International Speedway Event Parking, Land Development Code Text Amendment. This is an ordinance on second reading, public hearing. An ordinance amending the City Land Development Code, Article 5, Section 5.3, Accessory Uses and Structures, to add Daytona International Speedway event parking as an accessory use for properties within 1 mile of the Daytona International Speedway Plan Development General District, subject to use-specific standards to govern the new accessory use, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing direction to the codifier and providing an effective date.
So move.
We'll take the motion from Commissioner Cantu and the second from Commissioner May.
And I have no speakers for this item, Mr. Mayor.
Do we have any questions or comments? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, moving on to item 9I, it's the Development Administrative Services Planning Division, School Street Small-Scale Comprehensive Plan Amendment. This is an ordinance on second reading, public hearing. An ordinance adopting small-scale comprehensive plan amendment in accordance with Chapter 163.3187 of the Florida statutes in relation to 3.56 plus acres of land, the subject property, generally located along School Street between Bellevue Avenue and Shady Place, amending the future land use map designation of portions of the subject property from retail 0.82 plus acres and office transition 2.74 plus acres to level 2 residential, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
So moved.
Oh, boy, we'll take a motion from Commissioner Reed, and we'll just take the second from Commissioner May. Do we have any questions or comments on this?
And I have no speakers for this, Mr. Mayor.
All right. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 9J, which is Public Works, amending the city's refuse and recycling rate and fee schedule. This is an ordinance on second reading, public hearing. An ordinance amending the city's refuse and recycling rate and fee schedule to provide a fee for excessive yard waste and a fee for removing and relocating containers placed by customers in violation of the code. Amending Section 78-38 City Code to provide for fuel component adjustments, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner May and a second from Commissioner Cantu.
I have no speakers for this item, Mr. Mayor.
Speaker, do we have any questions?
I do. So my curiosity at the meeting we had, Mr. Jagger, was who will be issuing the citation and what is the process involved in all this?
Yes, so the process is for any violations to be forwarded to the solid waste supervisor. The fee or the fine is then included in the utility bill for the violator.
Waste Pro goes by and they're the ones issuing it?
It may be Waste Pro, it may be code, it could be.
You got Mr. Walker.
Okay, sure, David, come on up, you know better.
Good evening, David Waller, Public Works Department. There's two different fees. The most common one, and which we actually already issue, and this just makes it, codifies it as being a fee that we can charge, is for excessive yard waste. The contractor tags a pile if it's oversized. The resident is notified. They're given an opportunity to correct or find an alternative way to remove the debris. If not, they can either agree to the fee. If they don't agree, we continue to, they get 72 hours to make a correction. The vast majority of those are piles that are generated by contractors who leave it on site. Contract piles are required to be removed by the contractor.
The fee you're asking about, however, I think is a different fee.
The toter moving fee?
The one where we relocate the toter, which is the new fee.
That will be used very rarely. What that is intended to target is we occasionally have property owners who refuse to remove the toter from the street. They've chosen to store it there. We make contact with them regularly. They just won't move the toter out of the street. This will give us a mechanism for us to go and relocate the toter and bill the customer for that service and hope to get them in compliance.
Who does that? Code enforcement?
Our staff, our solid waste administrator will do that.
Okay. And then, so do residents contact you when they see this on the street, or is it something you have to drive by and witness yourself?
Typically, it's driven by complaint. We get a neighbor who's tired of a trash can being sitting by their driveway 7 days a week. So they'll reach out to us. We contact the account holder and the property owner, whoever it happens to be. We try to work through them with education. On all those fees, we put a note in their account based on the person we spoke to, so that they don't ever get charged the first time. We speak with them, we put a note in their account, and if they've gone through the education process more than once and they continue to violate the ordinance, then we can charge the fee.
What is the fee?
The toter fee is $25.
25?
Yes, ma'am.
Each time? Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to say I'm glad you finally said trash can, because in layman's terms, they may not have known you meant to move your toter from off the street, but remove your trash cans. Okay.
Yes,
Thank you,
ma'am.
David.
That's a big trash can.
I just have a what-if question. What if you have yard waste out there and they miss you 1 week?
Well, if you get yard waste missed, we hope that you report that to us so we can make the correction, and so that we can get you picked up in a timely manner. But if you're asking if you miss a week and you put out a second pile and you get noticed, you'll get the opportunity, the property owner get the opportunity to contact us and explain their story, and we're here to provide service. So our goal is to get it picked up.
Okay, because mine's been missed sometimes, and I just figured I'll just wait until the next week.
Yep, and that's lots of folks do that. We do appreciate when folks let us know so we can improve our level of service. But if you add to that pile, and often we can tell, you see a pile that's half brown and half green, that's 2 weeks for the pile, right? So
And
we're all brown.
It's all brown now.
Yeah,
And-
we had that wind come by the other day, 2 days in a row,
Yes, ma'am.
and all my palm fronds decided they were going to drop.
Yep. We've been picking up large piles that blown down palm fronds these last
Thank
few
you.
weeks. You're welcome.
So
Did you fill out?
Do you have a form?
this generally impacts Zone 3 quite a bit. That's kind of why I'm bringing it up here. So just so I understand, so if the yard pile is too big, they'll just tag it and then leave it because it's too big. Is there a rule for what is too big or too small?
3 cubic yards is what the ordinance says,
fill out
and
the
that's
yellow
basically the size of a compact car.
I'll let you.
Wow, that's pretty big.
Relatively big pile.
Okay, all right.
And part of that objective of setting that limit is that if the piles are too big, then the trucks fill up and they can't complete a route.
Okay, I'm with it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I do have 2 speakers.
And we will acknowledge them this time.
Okay. So Ms. Smiley, if you want to turn in your form.
Well, I'm just reading this, and I just had some questions. So on my street, in my experience, many times, I have the toter out, I have the yard waste in it, I have a branch hanging out of it, so there's no confusion on what it is, and they drive right by and don't pick it up. And then I call them and say, hey, you know, I've had to chase them around the corner to get them to pick it up. And when I call, they'll say, well, did you have it out early in the morning? And I'm like, is Tuesday night early enough? So, but I guess in regards to your question, how big, there's nothing here that says what size is oversized. Because I watch those guys, and I mean, if a branch is one way and a branch is another way, they just drive by. They won't pick it up. I mean, they leave piles a lot. And I think what you said as far as there are a lot of professionals, you know, like when they trim the palm trees and stuff, they don't cart them away. They just leave a big mountain in front of the houses. So that's why they wanted that. You're having a problem with that. But, you know, my question is, what is too big that they're going to tag it? Because at my house, if I start pulling a bunch of vines and stuff off my back fence, that can be a big pile pretty fast. And so I need to know, how big is that I'm going to be charged now? Who can answer that? You know, I mean, no one is
I
asking.
don't think vines is the problem. I think it's branches have to be a certain size for them to take.
Okay. Okay, ma'am, I'm sorry. Okay. Our next speaker is Marjorie Johnson.
Marjorie Johnson. I really am not happy about this because I've had many instances where they did not pick up my garbage. I have to call down there, and I always have to speak to the top person. And then sometimes I've had problems. So them charging us extra fees, and then they saying, oh, you're not supposed to put this that garbage. You're not supposed to put this. Never happened before. So this is what they're doing now. And we're paying a lot of taxes, a lot of bills already. I hope that they won't use this situation to overcharge the residents of this community. And I am totally against them not doing their jobs and leaving trash in the container. I always call and complain about it. And then you on the phone, you have to wait a long time to talk to them. And I always go to the top. When you go to the top, you get stuff moved. So they do come back out and eventually move it. So I hope they won't use this as an opportunity to overprice us for trash that's out there. They say it's too much. And they are leaving the trash in the containers. And some days they're not even picking it up. So I want this looked into and make sure that everybody is being treated fairly and equitable. Thank you.
Okay, that was my...
May I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
I had one of those experiences myself, but what I've learned is when I do have my trees trimmed, you have to pay for the limbs and things to be taken away. So I always ask now when I'm having things trimmed, does that include the towing? Because they left a whole bunch of stuff in between the palm trees on the city side of the property. And I had a bill for like $125 because I didn't know to ask that towing was included. Yeah. So it only took one time for me to learn. So if it is a lot and it's branches, then yes, they need to take that with them. Maybe an extra $25 or something if you're having trees professionally done.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any other questions or comments? All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, we're going to move on to item number 10, which is our administrative items. Item number 10A is the Development Administrative Services Planning Division, Second Amendment to the O'Connor Capital PD. This is a Plan Development General. This is an introduction of an ordinance approving the Second Amendment to the O'Connor Capital Plan District Agreement to modify the approved lot development criteria for residential uses to allow for the development of cottage-style multifamily uses anywhere on the property, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the Second Amendment to the PD agreement, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date. Are there any questions or comments from the city commission on this item? Okay, so the public hearing and final action is October 5th. We're going to move on to item 10B, which is the Development and Administrative Services Planning Division, Sungate Voluntary Annexation. This is an introduction of an ordinance. An ordinance annexing into the City of Daytona Beach 7 parcels containing 9.2 plus or minus acres of land, generally located north of West International Speedway Boulevard and near the Old DeLand Road and Fire Tower Road intersections. Redefining the territorial boundaries of the City of Daytona Beach to include the property, redesignating the boundaries of Zone 4 of the City of Daytona Beach to include the property, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date. And are there any questions or comments from the commission on this item? Okay, so the public hearing and final action for this is actually October 19th. So we're going to move on to a final item that was added to the agenda. Item 10C is a reconsideration of the Battle of the Bays special event resolution. A resolution amending Resolution 2022-354, which approved the temporary outside activities at Main Street Station, 316 Main Street, during the Battle of the Babes Music Festival from October 8th through the 9th, 2022, waiving the provision of the Land Development Code Section 5.4.C.11, prohibiting outdoor events on the properties with an order of noncompliance with the 3-year period prior to the date of application and providing an effective date.
So move. Like to say a few things. Okay, I actually do like this event a lot. 100% of this is going to breast cancer awareness. I know we passed this a couple weeks ago as well, and I know they've ordered shirts, and there's a lot of different other establishments that are involved now, and they have all this advertisement going on. But I would like to clear up some things, because since this had to come back through, there was some things put up on social media that I was a little upset and taken back by Main Street, alluding that the city actually closed them down. And I just want to put out for the record, the City of Daytona Beach did not close them down. The Daytona Beach Police Department did not close them down. There's some kind of investigation, which I won't get into that. All the police did was take their DVR for a few days, which has been returned, and their cameras were still in place. And I do not like how the owner actually put out there as well that the city is blackmailing them, and that's why this has come back before us, because we're trying to take their property, eminent domain. And could you speak on that, or someone speak on that about eminent domain?
There is nothing that has come to my office that I would present to the commission on taking her property. I was not aware of all the DVR and all that stuff, but no, I think that is a business that should be successful, especially on our Main Street corridor. So we're going to do
Yes.
everything we possibly can to make them successful based on what our codes allow.
Okay, so all those rumors out there from the business owners, or the business owner who put all this up, none of it is true. So I just wanted to clear that up for the record, but I am in support of this event she's having. Thank you.
Sometimes I think it's good for business, for the business people to create a conflict that doesn't exist. And that's all I will say to that matter. There's no conflict. If you do what you're supposed to do, you get the treatment that you're supposed to get, which is excellent, grade A, first class, professional service, and hope and ambition that you will thrive in business. But if you don't meet the standard, then you have to deal with the standard that you don't meet. But sometimes conflict draws people who like conflict to your business so that you can rally and rail against a government that is not against you. So, yeah. Any other comments?
I spoke with the owner over there today, and they were a bit remorseful about overreacting to those things that were there and those posts. And I would like to see us go ahead and pass this and make sure that they have that event. It's a good event, and we all get a little excited sometimes and say some things that we have to go back and broom up. And the older you get, the more you learn that the less rubbish you put on your side of the street, the less you have to go back and clean up. And I think that hopefully they're turning the corner over there with being careful about having to go back and broom up their mistakes. So anyway, let's pass this.
Touche.
No doubt. Very well said, and might I add, seasoned of you to take the demeanor that you've taken. We have a motion. We have a second.
What is the motion?
To approve. To approve the,
To approve it?
yes.
Yes.
To approve the event that I'm in favor of as well. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. All right, that's our final item. Our commission started tonight with Commissioner Traeger. Is that right?
No, I think so. Me.
Or May?
No, I think.
May, my bad.
Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to say I'm really appreciating all of these fabulous events that we are putting out. I think it's great. Some residents of it, so I'm trying to get them to subscribe to the manager's update as best they can because they're always asking for more information, so that's good. I want to say a big thank you to Public Works, Road and Safety, because they've been very responsive to the needs in Zone 3, so I appreciate them all very, very much. Thank you all, and have a nice evening.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Cantu?
Okay, I want to talk on the Mason Avenue too, but should we do that?
It's a
Okay.
discussion item.
Okay, so I just have a few things. I don't think, October 2nd, there's going to be the road surfacing on Bevel Road will be starting, so I just want to let the residents know about that. We will be having a Halloween event at City Hall again, and if we have any business organizations out there that would like to decorate their trunk, please get a hold of me, and that's about it. Oh, actually, one more, sorry. And everyone should have this. Okay. This is the Biden administration announced $2.3 billion for states and tribes to strengthen our American power grid. And I would like to see if we could have staff actually take a look and see if there's any money out there for relocating our power lines, because I love what the Shores have done, and it looks like we do have some money out there that maybe it could help. So.
And for the record, that's in that manila
And your folder, I believe, right? Okay. And that's it. Thank you.
Commissioner Henry?
Tonight, Showtime in the Park has been rescheduled, sponsored by Zone 5 City Commissioner Dennett Henry, Saturday, October 8th at Suburbia Park, 700 Heineman Street. Make sure to bring your lawn chairs, your blankets to sit and enjoy the movie. Gates are going to open at 6:30 p.m. and the movie starts at 7:30 p.m. We're going to have free food, DJ, games, hot dogs, drinks, popcorn, and candy. And we are showing the movie Space Jam with LeBron James. We hope to see you all. It is a free event. Please come out. And the second thing is, we have tonight a very special guest, and I'm going to call him up. His name is Harry Rucker. And if you all remember, a few months ago, couple of us sponsored the Florida East Coast Supersonics to go to nationals. And Harry brought back the medals for us, and he's coming with his medals. He placed 4th in the nation in the race walk, 8th in the nation, 8th in the nation in shot put, and he attends Henson Middle School, and he has a 4.0 GPA, and he's here with his mom. Come on up, Harry.
Harry.
So this is Harry. We're going to get his picture. Harry, you're going to stand right at the podium.
Harry, where do I go?
Right there,
Right there.
and the mayor's going to come.
You go too. Yep.
Stand right here.
He's here tonight with his mom, Crystal. Come on up, Miss Crystal.
Look, I should go. I gave money to that. I should go down. Hey, Sarah. His mother's a Delta.
Oh. Come on, we're waiting on that hearing. Right here. Just, y'all ready? Look this way. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Harry.
They didn't have Henson when I was coming.
Bob, do I have anything to say to You're fine. I ain't got nothing to say. We got football game on Saturday. We'll see.
He plays football at Mainland, right?
No, Henson, he's in Bucks.
Oh, he's still,
Seventh
yeah.
grade.
He's still young.
Yeah,
Seventh grade. The other Bucks.
Harry and his mother emanate from a legendary football family. Legendary. From South Florida to Daytona Beach, Bethune-Cookman. Just proud of what you're doing, Harry. And we are here to support you. And always know that in your city, you have a community that believes in you. And we're proud of you.
That's the end of my comments.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Reed?
Well, I was trying to think of what to say. I really didn't write anything down. Bob said I could do a closing prayer.
Definitely did an opening prayer.
But I just will remind you that, you just got to support the home team. And Saturday, the great Bethune-Cookman University at 2 p.m. will be playing Grambling, and it's Greek Day. So if you're Greek and you're coming to the game, wear your paraphernalia. And as the president of the National Panhellenic Council, I've been actually asked to come out and flip the coin and start the game. Hey!
Great. That's great.
I hope I don't throw the coin away. But that'll conclude my comments. So I told the manager everything I think he needs to know.
Okay.
He has a list.
Yes, ma'am.
Main Street Station has done a number of good things over the years. I'm glad to see that they let this event go on because I think it is extremely important work that they do for the breast cancer. And I'm glad to see it continue. Good night.
Thank you. Commissioner Strickland?
A couple of things. I spoke with the city manager and the chief about a couple things pertaining to the Seabreeze area. The Seabreeze area, I would like to see them stop the general public from parking parallel, say 11 o'clock on Friday and Saturday nights, and allow Uber and taxi cabs and Lyft to park there as to help remove some of the patrons when they come out of the bars, rather than them having to call those people and walk down the street, go to a side street. They'd be right there. All they got to do is go out and get in those. If we could work on that in the future. the two hookah lounges, however you say that, are kind of magnets for people to go to after we have changed the closing time for the bars. And so we still have, for lack of a better way to put it, we got the hangers on and the riffraff over there at 3 o'clock in the morning. I've seen a couple of videos with a lot of craziness going on. 5, 6 police cars over there. Who knows what was going on, because I didn't have it. There was no audio on the videos that I saw. However, I think that we should work on making sure that they close at the same time.
I was about to say, what is the, what are the options that we have to make that happen? And if you're already looking at it, if you could give us some feedback, because that's going to be my suggestion.
We had looked at creating some regulations which had a closing hour for smoking lounges, which they would fall under, which would be consistent with the closing hour for establishments serving alcoholic beverages. Mr. Morris, do you know exactly where we are with that? We'd given some draft to you. I think it may have gone to planning board, and anyway, it is in the works. I'm not quite sure exactly where.
Jim Morris, Deputy City Manager. You're right, Mr. Jagger, you've already properly stated it. City Attorney's Office through Mr. Gross, and planning mostly through Ms. Askew have been working back and forth on that topic. When Scott Lee was here, it was maybe a little bit more involved than it is now. I think we should be able to bring something forward pretty quickly. And the parking ideas that you had, Mr. Strickland, we had talked with Scott Lee about that probably 9 months ago or so, because the object would be you clear the streets for line of sight for one thing, which gives the policeman a better opportunity to see what's going on throughout the street by having cars absent from the parking along the street. And as you mentioned too, better access for Uber and so on to pick people up and get them out of the area. We've talked about that a fair amount previously in planning and in conjunction with code when Mr. Lee was still here. So we certainly can pick those ideas up and go further with them. And I think you already properly stated where the smoking lounge rule is.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
That's enough.
Yeah, that's plenty good, though. That's good stuff. Our city manager was the speaker for Bethune-Cookman's, what was that? What was it, the SGA?
Inauguration chapel.
Inauguration chapel service. And he did a fantastic job. And I want to say he is an example to all students, whether they be in high school, is it Harry? Middle school, elementary, college. If you live in Daytona Beach, you can, we believe in our own, and we believe in people who go to school here. And he did a great job. Very proud of the presentation that he gave. Very proud of the police department's response in dealing with the Mainland High School incident. A+, top-notch, totally professional. Very proud of so many departments in the city of Daytona Beach that are operating at a high level of engagement with the citizens of Daytona Beach. The curtain has been removed. The barrier between City Hall and resident is one that we have long wanted residents not to feel existed. And we are, I believe, doing an excellent job of engaging with residents, and I'm appreciative of the staff and your leadership in that way and the way that the staff is engaging with residents. Deeply appreciative of each of you, my colleagues, for the level of engagement that you are having with your constituents, bringing ideas before the commission that respond to and reflect the needs of the residents and what they want on so many levels. We are operating, in my opinion, in the 10 years that I have served as mayor, at as high a level as we have ever operated. And I would like to see, and that means from every area of City Hall to the work that you all are doing. And I might add, the work of the residents, solving problems, getting together, volunteering, cleaning up the beaches, looking for ways to make the community better and not sitting back and waiting for government to do everything. There is a partnership. What I'm seeing in our parks and recreation, what I'm seeing through our the various football leagues, cheerleaders, so many areas of our community are being served. Our parks are looking more pristine. On so many levels, we are becoming a better and a greater city. And I think that let's continue to partner together and push our city towards its destiny. I've always said that we aim to be America's destination. We attract 10 million visitors, and we're attracting more and more people who want to live here. Well, let's continue down the path of excellence and greatness that I think that we are journeying down. Mr. Manager?
Just thank you all. I will definitely make sure that the staff knows the comments that you made about them, and I truly believe we are headed towards America's destination for people that want to live, work, play, learn, and raise a family. So thank you all also. I know the staff appreciates your approval of the budget on tonight, and as well as the residents of our great city. That's it.
Nothing further, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes our portion of the meeting. We will now hear from
Commissioner
you.
Cantu.
Go.
And
One other issue. I forgot. Thank you. My apologies. Commissioner.
And Commissioner Andy, see if you have any questions for him.
Okay, thank you, which I will. Most of you already received the email of the TPO presentation of Mason Avenue, if you got a chance to look at it. I had a meeting with staff and Holly Hill manager and the mayor. And for Mason Avenue, they would like us to lead that project, which we should, on Mason Avenue. But I'm coming before you because I would like to do a resolution for Phase 1 supporting the road surfacing, Phase 1, which the road surfacing and Phase 2 are two different departments and two different budgets. I would like to do the resolution supporting the road surfacing with a few minor changes, which I believe you have seen the email and the changes, and one of them was the hardened center lines, which I call the sticks. And this picture was taken on Ronald Reagan and Dog Track Road in Longwood. These are what the sticks end up looking like. And they sit there and no one fixes them. I mean, you can go to Saxon, you can go to Sanford. And so Andy did put in the, I think you all saw, they were sent that, correct? Andy put in theirs about the wall. And I'm in agreement with that, and I hope everyone else is. So there is a few changes we would like to do in supporting the first phase. But the second phase, I would like that to be presented when our applications are ready in the TPO for 2022. And I don't want to wait to 2023. It's a hot topic now, and there's a few reasons why. First of all, Mason Avenue is one of the most dangerous roads in Volusia and Flagler. We've had 7 fatalities within August 30th of 2022 to August 29, 2022. We've also had, counting the 7, total 12 fatalities within a 5-year span. And this is on at Mason Avenue from Clyde Morris all the way to Ridgewood, just that little stretch. These lives mean something, and I think we do need to push for this. There was something that came out saying we would, if we submitted that application, we would have to pay 10%. And we don't have to pay 10% of the project. I would like to budget some kind of money to put in there, but I also did talk to the consultant, and there is a lot of grants out there as well. And we qualify for Mason Avenue 2 different grants, safety, and there's a drainage issue. And so I was told we qualified for 2 different grants. Also, there is TPO money out there. And so we need right away. And so I would like staff to go back and look, how many empty lots do we have on Mason Avenue where we could get some right-of-way. We have too many left turns, and I think we need to block some of those left turns as well. And it's a safety issue, and I would hope you guys would support putting this in for phase 2. And actually, I just found out today, a Bunnell project got priority, just recently got priority because there was some money that was put in from legislators. And so I'm going to go talk to our senators and legislators to ask for them if they would go in, when they're in session, to try to get us some money for Mason Avenue as well. So, and we did put $750,000 in ISB. So I think we can actually budget for some money and find some money for Mason Avenue. So, and if anyone has any comments for me.
So what you're asking, how does what you're asking correspond with what Andy was, his explanation of what we needed? Is it
Okay,
congruent
Andy,
with
can
that?
you come up?
Yeah, because I mean, I read both portions, and I really
I'm trying to go back to it.
want to make sure we're in congruence.
Andy Holmes, Assistant City Manager, Infrastructure. Essentially, we're on the same page with nearly everything. The question in my mind is the timing of submitting the project to the call for projects. We could do it this coming call for projects, which opens in December and ends in about the 1st of February or so, or the middle of February. Or we can wait a year and do it the next time. I had been advocating for waiting, but I don't feel so strongly about it that we need to have a fight about it. If the commission would like us to submit it this year, we'll submit it this year. We can do it. It would be better developed and have a better scope and cost estimate, which are required at the submittal, if we waited a year and worked with FDOT. It is an FDOT road. Worked with them in a cooperative manner, which they're willing to do, and then submit it a year from now. But I'll do whatever the pleasure of this commission is, of course.
And as well, I told you this evening that I talked to Colleen, and she's in the next week or two setting up a meeting with FDOT and all of us to work and for this phase 2 to see where we are. So maybe come back with that second phase after we have this meeting, and you might feel more comfortable as well.
I actually would like for you all to have that meeting before we even make any decisions, because we've already got a lot of streets that we have designated money for. And yes, Mason is a problem, but those other streets have been a problem too. But I think we would be more educated after that FDOT meeting on how to proceed. That's how I feel.
And I'm fine with that, because we should have that within a week or two.
Yeah, I think that was in
Phase
the
1.
email that it would be.
But I would like a resolution as well, accepting the road servicing project with the minor changes.
Is that on the road surfacing list?
Separate.
It's two separate. Phase 1 and phase 2 is two separate.
And that's, I'm perfectly in agreement with that, but
Okay.
I'm also in agreement. I want to be successful. And I understand the nuances, and I don't want to call it politics of it, but there are politics involved in all things. And so we want to make sure that we give ourselves the best chance to be successful. And if they determine that we should wait a year after the meetings, then I would rather do that if after you all have met and you feel that it takes time to put forth something that has a good chance of being successful. I also think that it is accurate that we will, at some point in time, we're going to have to put some money in it, no matter what anybody says.
Correct. That's how the TPO, and you get on the priority list.
Yeah. So I guess what we would do is we will allow that meeting to transpire. Then we will go with phase 1 as a resolution, so they may have to be two separate resolutions.
That's fine.
Okay. Does anyone have any other comment? Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I was just going to say that the reason we pay Andy the big bucks is to advise us on these things. And what he just said is what I think we should do, is to go ahead and with the first one. And if we need to wait until next year for money reasons, planning reasons, so that we get the best bang for our buck, he's the expert. We should listen to him.
Well, I don't know that that's what he said. No, I don't know. That's not, it's more or less in line with what was said on this side. He didn't, even though I agree with you, but we agree. Okay, but I don't
that's
think it
good.
came from his mouth, exactly that.
Okay.
But the point is, if they can get it done, you do it. And we have November, maybe they can come in for November?
Commissioner Cantu
That's
has
what's
scheduled.
issue.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
November 16th.
November 16, you'll get a presentation, which is the same presentation that you all had copies of this. This is for the resolution for Phase 1. But Colleen, I talked to Colleen from TPO today, and she is arranging a meeting between DOT and staff and myself to talk about how to move forward on Phase 2 and about the different grants out there that we qualify for as well.
Okay. All right, any other questions or comments? Okay, all right. As always, great job. You get paid the big bucks to do a great job. And you do a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate the
You really
opportunity.
do.
Thank you.
You know, one heck of a promotion there. He's good. Okay. Oh, I had one other comment I wanted to make. Was that it? Go ahead, have another. I don't-
Actually, I think we have some of our TPO advisory boards that wanted to speak on this subject as well.
Oh,
Do you have those?
I have the green sheets for the stuff after this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
could
but-
they go ahead and, since we're on that subject, speak?
That's up to the
that's
mayor.
fine. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Who was it?
Chris
I don't
Dawn.
even know. I know
Chris.
one of them, two of them.
Chris, okay.
Wait.
Three.
I have Chris
All right, I'm good
Dawn
with it.
and.
Keep it congruent with what we're talking about.
Look at Chris.
I will. No, I'm saying the overall agenda.
Okay. And Emily. Go ahead,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Dawn.
Okay. Chris Dawn, Daytona Beach. As you know, by the way, I'm been serving on the TPO. It's called the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Board. I've been on that for 5 years, and dealing with traffic and bicycle pedestrian fatalities, which are areas one of the highest in the country and has been for a decade now. And I serve for all of Volusia County, for all the municipalities in the county, not just Daytona Beach. So on that board, we plan for many things. And as you know, Mason Avenue is a major thoroughfare. It's also an evacuation route for the city. And 10 years ago, the thought at the time was if you lowered speed limits, you would make it safe. And now the last data for the past 10 years that we're starting to use and consultants are bringing in is that slowing things down does not decrease fatalities. So they're now looking at other design. Basically, a road has to be redesigned to make it safe as opposed to putting little Band-Aids on it, like the sticks that were presented to you, or putting the speed tables, which is part of the second phase being proposed. So I'm here today because in the Phase 1, it's not clear if the city is even going to get sidewalks on Mason Avenue, because at present, there aren't even any sidewalks at the railroad crossing, which is really unbelievable for a road that's been there for 40 years. I think it was done in the 1950s, and it was 4 lanes. No sidewalks. That's amazing.
And that's part of the resolution.
Good. But that's an important part. And I just want to say that it's a major thoroughfare, and we really need to make it redesigned as the ultimate goal for safety, to have sidewalks, to have a median in the middle. And I actually live in that neighborhood adjacent to Mason Avenue. And we're only looking at a 2-mile stretch of roadway. And as Commissioner Cantu mentioned, on the ISB project, I believe $16 million was spent on right-of-way for 1 mile of roadway. I believe then we should at least spend $32 million for two miles of roadway on Mason. There are only 8 properties that look like they're at risk. So when people want to say there's businesses that are possibly might be affected, I've only counted 8 that come up to the road, like the old Volvo place. We just put in.
Well, they don't even have a business in there.
Right, but my point is, Sunnyland Park was just really beautifully redone, and yet we don't have sidewalks to get the kids to go there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Emily Nice, and on deck is James Ford.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Em.
I have some handouts for you. It's just 2 pages.
Okay.
I appreciate everyone considering this topic, and I just want to say thank you, especially to Commissioner Cantu. She has done an overwhelming job of tackling this, especially in the past week and 2 weeks, spending countless hours as we researched to try to identify the best possible way to start to handle this in the most efficient way possible. I appreciate all of your support in this planning phase to carefully consider the maximum safety features to help put Mason on the top priority list with FDOT and with TPO. TPO has a limited budget, so we will only be able to get X amount of dollars. It's $5 million for the entire TPO area, which is most of Volusia and a little bit of Flagler. So we will quite possibly be able to tap into some of those funds if we're approved, but we also need, obviously, quite a bit of money from FDOT. And in order to do that, we have many studies that help document that Mason is legitimately dangerous. It should be put high on the priority list. What you're looking at here is a chart from University of Florida's Signal 4 Analytics. It's the same analytical system that DBP uses to total their crashes and to determine where they're happening. They have a staff member there, actually, at DBP, who is extremely helpful, and she knows exactly what's happening on every road. But I wanted to highlight on here that intersections are contributing more to the crashes than any other of these threats. And that's important because we don't have right-of-way on Mason for left turn lanes. We don't have medians. So that will take a lot more time and a lot more money, but when you consider this map on the right, which is also from Signal 4 Analytics, it shows that Mason Avenue, even though the map is a little blurry, that's the highest resolution they offer, but this is DBPD's crash report statistics that you see with the blue dots here and the red dots. The red dots are the biggest and most frequent on Mason Avenue. And this was made in 2022, so this is current as of September 20th.
Go ahead.
And this is DBPD's map of where they had to attend to these crashes. And then on the second page, to get an idea of the cost estimate of what crashes cause in terms of the financial impact. Obviously, that's not even accounting for the terrible tragedy of those involved, but you can see fatalities are at over $10 million for a comprehensive crash cost. This figure and this chart here with the severe injuries, moderate injuries, minor injuries, and property damage only cost is taken from the FDOT design manual from January of this year. So it's accurate. It also comes from the Florida Department of Transportation State Safety Office's Crash Analysis Reporting System. So this was done from 2014 through 2018, and it is published in the State Safety Office from November 5th, 2020. And also, the TPO uses this same table for their 2022 congestion management process report, which is coming out very shortly. So aside from that, we also have the Dangerous by Design report from 2022 listing our area as the most dangerous. So I thank you for all considering this, especially Commissioner Cantu for leading the way on this. And I look forward to having meetings where we have input from the stakeholders, the residents, the investors, city staff. Andy Holmes is always a pleasure to work with.
Thank you, ma'am.
And,
We're going to go ahead and get to
yes, thank you. I look forward to that. Thanks.
Thank
I
you.
do have two additional speakers, Mr. James Ford and Joyce Case.
And just to add, this was from Chief Young. There was 492 accidents on Mason Avenue from Clyde Morris to Ridgewood Avenue within a 2-year span as well.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's good information.
Thank you, Mayor, for saying those nice things you said about the community. We appreciate that. And Stacy, you work so hard on this. I just want to personally, my wife Donna and I want to really thank you for all your hard work. Consistency always wins out, you know? So hang in there. Thank you. But you need that support from the community, and that's why I'm here, give you some support. I came here about 9 years ago, and I saw the changes of International Drive, Beach Street changing now, and now we have a problem with Mason Avenue, and it's a dangerous area. I travel it all the time to Winter Park in downtown Orlando, and we need to do something about it. The roads are bad, but the biggest problem that you have, thank you, Ken, too, also for your work and everything in the community. The problem we have is money. Where does the money come from? So I might have a couple of suggestions. The federal government on emergency, how bad that is, a dangerous road. They have the New Deal right now. We need to get in quick and get some grant money. Maybe the community can help, like Sam's Club or whatever. They need employees. The restaurants are having trouble. Maybe a better bus route. I don't know. The buses can pull over where the traffic can keep going, where it's safe for everyone. So if we can make this a priority and push on it right away, we really appreciate it. And we want to get the community a lot better. And you know, for me, it's always, and I grew up in a rougher neighborhood, so I understand it, a low income. It's always the last people in the community to lower income, and that's a low income area. We need to focus on that. They deserve it. And we need to bring them up so they have a good life. So it's up to us to push that issue. And I appreciate your help. All of you is working hard. It's easy to sit and whine and complain, but you take an action. And there's a lot of changes in the community since I've been here that are positive. And that's why we love it here in the community. So I want to thank you for your hard work and keep it up.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Joyce Case.
I'll take my glasses off so I can read. Good evening, everybody, Mayor, Commissioners. I'm Joyce Case. I'm with the Health Planning Council, and Emily asked me to come and talk about Mason Avenue. And so I wrote some things, so I'm just going to read it so I don't get distracted. No sidewalks, no bike paths, no street lights, insufficient lighting, no fire hydrants, heavy traffic, frequent flooding, crime, noise, and contamination. This is the built environment that makes up the corridor of Mason Avenue from the bottom of the bridge to Clyde Morris. The built environment significantly impacts population health and community wellness positively or negatively. Our road networks and infrastructure includes sidewalks, bike lanes, lights, flood mitigation, and safe sidewalks should be designed for all users: wheelchairs, baby strollers, walkers, bicycle riders, in addition to cars. This is a state road, and we have an opportunity to increase the health, safety, and welfare of the community residents by implementing FDOT's Complete Streets principle. FDOT is committed to enhancing the safety and mobility of our residents and visitors with complete street principles. In addition, the Federal Department of Transportation is now committing major investments in the Reconnecting Communities pilot program to reconnect communities by removing, retrofitting, or mitigating transportation facilities such as highways and rail lines that create barriers to communities' connectivities, including the mobility, access, and economic development. Today, in the age of chronic illnesses and COVID, there remains important connection between population health and the built environment. The built environment influences a person's level of physical activity, and our community leaders, FDOT, and residents should help share in the plans for Mason Avenue to improve public health. Volusia County top causes of death are chronic diseases, including heart disease, cancer, and lower respiratory condition. This indicates a greater need to support healthy lifestyles, safe environments, access to health care to prevent and manage the conditions. Broken, inaccessible, and non-existent sidewalks or bicycle and walking paths contribute to sedentary habits. These habits lead to poor health outcomes such as obesity, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and some types of cancer. Today, approximately 2/3 of Americans are considered medically overweight. To encourage healthy community design, our community leaders working across multiple disciplines, such as with FDOT and public health and safety, is imperative. These interactions will support designing a healthier 32114 community. We did a PACE project in that area about 9 years ago, so that was something that indicates that health component needs to be considered. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you send me a copy of that so I can read it again?
Oh, sure.
Of what you wrote?
Can I just give you this one?
Yeah, that'll work.
There's actually some websites and stuff that you can write.
Thank you.
Take it and I'll make copies
Oh.
so everyone can have
Yes,
it.
that's good. Okay. Thank you. That was excellent. Excellent. And I want to say this. First of all, this is what you do in a community when you care. Mason Avenue has been a street that we have talked about for years. And when you talk about the issues that you talked about, those are the issues that we've been talking about up here for years. All of the health outcomes that we wish to change. And we know that there are many factors to trying to change any issue in a community, from education to health to socioeconomics to housing, but they all run together. And this, I've been working with many people from Daytona State to Embry-Riddle to Miss Husseini. We're on this 32114 initiative, but this is a major component of that. You're talking transportation, even someone talked about even buses having better access, people having better access to buses. It'll help them to get to their jobs better. There's just so much that has come from that presentation, from all of you, from what you said, that I think that lends a lot of credence to us being on the right path as it relates to this road. So thank you all for what you all said, and as well as your leadership. Let's get started. I think we have a lot of other roads that we talk about when we talk about some of the roads that we have coming up. But I think we've missed the boat on this one. This one was more important than some of the others that we've worked on, honestly. But now that we're here, let's give it the full attention that it deserves. Did you have anything else, Commissioner Cantu? No. I wanted to, where's Commissioner Ken Strickland? He's using the restroom. He left? I hope he's coming back. I wanted to thank Commissioner Strickland. First Step Shelter this month, or last month, put 14 people in permanent housing. Fourteen people went into permanent housing. And this is in an environment where housing, affordable housing, is tight. I rode the other day down Derbyshire, and I saw a house for rent. And I thought, wow, there's a house for rent with a for rent sign. You just don't see it because people are snapping them up so quickly. So first step, tomorrow we will, I believe, approve a budget for this upcoming year. We're now serving in excess of our budget. We're budgeted for 60 people. We're servicing on the regular 65 people. And we have a goal to get to that 100 number, but it takes more money. And so Commissioner Strickland, I wanted to personally thank you for the commitment of $25,000 to First Step. It'll go a long way. So at this time, we will now hear from the residents of Daytona Beach.
Okay, my first speaker is Xavier Campbell, and on deck is Kiana Griffin.
Community chair. We got the workforce return. That's good stuff.
I have some papers to pass out, if that's okay.
Okay, you can get them to. Okay, thank you. And we'll get copies made for the commission.
All right. Xavier Campbell, 148 South Grandview Avenue, Daytona Beach, Florida. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners. On the 19th of September, I had the pleasure and blessing of turning 29 years old. It dawned on me that although I work quite tirelessly for my municipality, my community involvement cannot cease here. I must indeed do more. After all, to whom much is given, much is required. Tonight, I bring before you two uplifting occurrences happening in our beloved community. Number one, the men of Omicron chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated are advocating the annual International High School Essay Contest. What are the qualifications, you may ask? Being a college-bound high school senior that submits an essay, of course. The essay prompt, quickly, is a world crisis has caused a paradigm shift for health disparities and social justice. What are your suggestions for positive change? The deadline, October 18th, 2022. Are you requesting a digital application as well as submitting your application and/or essay by email? That email is omicron48@gmail.com. If you are submitting via snail mail, that P.O. Box is P.O. Box 9571, Daytona Beach 32120. The scholarship amounts locally are as follows: $500, $300, and $150, respectively. The first place winner within our chapter will then be eligible for consideration at the national level. Those scholarship amounts are $5,000, $3,000, $2,000, and $1,000, respectively. Secondly, we have our upcoming golf tournament happening on October 1st. We provide African American students with need-based and merit-based scholarships and help students who would otherwise not even consider higher education. Unfortunately, students graduate with unmanageable loads of debt or choose not to pursue a degree at all. Choosing to skip higher education leads to a lower level of American competitiveness and economic power. Dear Mayor and Honorable City Commissioners, please refer to the second two-page packet provided, which you see, I guess, later. There's a QR code to which can be scanned from your cellular device that will navigate you directly to the portal that will allow you to support us in this endeavor, ultimately supporting the youth of Daytona Beach. Lastly, I leave you with a small excerpt of a particularly moving piece of literature. To that fair-haired youth may a pitfall be. He, too, must cross in the twilight dim. Good friend, I am building this bridge for him. That's my comments for tonight.
Thank you. Bridge builder.
Our next speaker is Kiana Griffin, and on deck is, I believe it's Shay Moss.
Good evening. For the sake of time, I hope you all can keep it with my words. My name is Kiana Griffin. I'm the president of the Levi Long Sickle Cell Association, and I'm so glad to be here. The fact that it's the month of September and this is Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and I have not heard anyone say sickle cell, but I have heard cancer, which is next month, means that I have a great more work to do. I thank you so much, Commissioner Reed. I thank you so much, City Manager. I thank you so much, Mayor Henry, and every one of you all that you all have given me funds. You have blessed my organization. But now I'm asking you for your sincere help the more, because in my organization, I've been able to help those that are homeless and do the Our Florida contract for them. I've been able to help landlords come into my building and assist them on how to do those Our Florida contracts. I've been able to help those that don't have jobs, because next to me is Ricky Robinson, who has sickle cell, who did not want to let me slow down, to get his disability, but because he has a wife and 2 children, he wanted to work. But because he has crises, he cannot continue to work. He's been let go. My goal is to hire these that have sickle cell, to never let them go, to always have a job, to partner with those, even in the audience who's coming up too soon, a group called The Lab, who will be able to do training for those that have sickle cell to maintain their work history and maintain their jobs. I'm asking you all for this amount, and it is $7,000, and I'll tell you why. My building alone is $1,600 a month. I've exhausted all of my funds, and for me, the last amount that you all gave me, it allowed me to stay in my building until the month of June. I have my receipts. I did speak to Mr. Fiecher. He did let me know that the form that you all need for me to give you all will be coming and transpiring on the website. But now I need to continue to keep this building in existence. I went ahead and applied for 2 United Way grants, which they're giving me the green light, but of course with grant funding, it does take time to come. I'm also asking, because I have 2 health meetings this weekend. This Saturday, I'm having a pet rally, sickle cell pet rally, which is a fundraiser to rally for those that have sickle cell. And as well as next Friday, the last day of September, I'm having my 2nd annual fundraiser, which, thank you, Mr. Mayor, you did come before. And I'm inviting those of you all to come again to speak at the fundraiser at the CCE building. And I would like for Mr. Ricky Robinson to say something.
My name is Ricky Robinson, and yes, I do have sickle cell, along with 2 other kids that I'm trying to take care of. And your funding will really help the Sickle Cell Foundation. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
You have it? Okay.
Okay. Our next speaker is Shay Moss, and on deck is John Nicholson. And she might have left.
Shay Moss.
Okay, so next speaker is John Nicholson, and on deck is Carmen Clark.
John Nicholson, 413 North Granbury Avenue. A couple of things. One, I would like to Ken, thank you. Those issues have been on the table for like a little over a year. Especially, we have a problem with the hookah bars behind it. When I walk in the morning on Fridays and Saturdays, you walk up there and it's 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and the kids are still in the parking lot. I went to the land, checked on the ownership. It's an LLC. I know that the Wells Fargo now doesn't allow them to park. I figured if I could find out who owned the parking lot, if they weren't allowed to park there, then they'd go home. But I don't know who owns the parking lot. So if we could do that, it might be of help. Secondly, safe roads. Those sticks look ugly. But if you take a look at what we're planning to put on Beachside, they're even uglier. 120 bollards. We're talking that big around on each intersection. So there are 1,000 bollards going on A1A and the side streets.
We're not talking about putting those.
Oh, I know.
Oh, okay.
But I'm saying it's coming down the pike. If you think those sticks are ugly, wait till you look at the pollards that are planned. If you go down Oak Ridge, as soon as you come over the bridge, there are 4 huge signs at every block that there's a pedestrian crossing. If we do that with every single street, it's visual ugly. I know we're trying to be safe, but it has to be attractive as well. So when we do ISB, when we do A1A, when we do Main Street, when we do Mason Avenue, we have to look at the attractiveness as well. We can't have just ugly. Schools, I would like the students who live near the schools in Daytona Beach to be allowed to go to those schools. If you live within walking distance of Hinson, you should be allowed to go to Hinson. It's not allowed right now. If you live within walking distance of Seabreeze, you cannot go to Seabreeze. There are schools that we have, the kids are within walking distance that cannot go to those schools. So I'm asking you to think about it, talk about it, contact our school board to have our kids go to our schools. And lastly, for years, Daytona Beach subsidized the rest of Daytona Beach. All right? Over 50% of the income came from Beachside. That's where the money was. That's where the events were held. Well, the events are no longer held there. If you look at Turkey Rod Run, it's not at Bel Air Plaza anymore. It's gone. So I'm asking you to allow us the funds that we raise to be spent on Beachside. We need it. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Carmen Clark, and on deck is Dixie Moore Geese. IT, if you guys want to
Okay.
bring the microphone, we're going to get you a hand.
handhelds.
Let's take down.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Campbell's going to bring it out to you.
Okay, I thought I was gonna be surprised that y'all was gonna have a lower, higher.
Lower, higher, you mean?
Lower for people on.
Lower podium.
No, lower podium.
There you go.
Can you find out how much the lower?
Okay.
Okay.
My name's Carmen Clark. I live in the Daytona Beach area. I'm in. Awesome. I'm here to talk about cap on rent. It's hard, but it can be done. I would like to see an ordinance put in place, because I did have a chance to talk to someone over in Orlando on the commission. We didn't have that opportunity to talk as much as we could, because she only could give me so much information, because they're gonna have an ordinance, I cannot say that word,
Ordinance.
Place November the 3rd for their people to vote on cap on rent. Rent is very high here in Volusia County and all over the place. And I work for an agency, and thank you, Mrs. Strickland. We do work closely with First Step Shelter, helping with the homeless applications and placing people also. Thank you very much. And every day, Monday through Friday, someone is calling me in regards to they are homeless. There are people that have had jobs that are great jobs. They're living in their cars because they're leasing individuals, or the apartments are very high. They cannot afford to even move out of where the rent has gone up $300 and $500 into a new place, because all of the apartments are now $2,000, $2,500. I mean, I'm trying to figure out who is affording these apartments, where, because I need that type of job where I can afford that type of rent each month. But I'm just asking, is there any way, that you all can sit down and talk about this, in regards to putting a cap on the rent here? I know everything is political, as you said, Mayor Henry, but it can be done. It's hard, but it can be done. I've been researching this, and I'm expecting a call from the lady that I talked to at the commission mayor office in Orlando to talk more about, just how they have gone about doing this, because I've seen on the news where the mayor has come and said they are going to put a cap on rent. They're gonna have to control it, because you're gonna have all these people that are homeless. And I did want to talk about the homelessness here, but I don't have time to talk about that. And I wanted to talk about some of the properties in the Daytona Beach area, not in your zone. I'm not quite sure whose zone it is. It's over off of Lincoln Street, Model, that area over there. The properties that are overgrown, trash all over the place. I wanted to talk about it too, but I don't have time. But
I think I heard you, and I think I sent one today in that area that was, that's way overgrown. So we see them.
I do call, I do make calls. I mean, I don't stay in the area, but I mean, as a person that lives in Volusia County, I do care about our community, and I do care about people in our community. And if I see it, I do make phone calls to code enforcement and Waste Pro. They'll say, oh, Ms. Clark, we'll be on it, because they know when I call, I'm gonna keep calling until it's done. But, you know, I mean.
Okay.
And can I ask you a question? Can you be in middle school and apply for it? Because sometimes when you're in middle school, you can apply for scholarships.
Specifically, it's for high school seniors.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay.
because that would be a great one for him to apply.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, he done a big blow.
Excuse me.
Our next speaker is Dixie Morgese, and on deck is Marjorie Johnson.
Good evening, Mayor Henry, City Manager, Commissioners. My name is Dixie Morgese. I live at 97 Treasure Lane, Ormond Beach, Florida. And I would also like to introduce my colleague, Ed.
Dr. Sadie McConnor at 236 Palm Sparrow Court. I would like to talk with the commission and the mayor and every honorable mayor here. I'd like to talk to you about an event that's occurring October 22nd, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's a special conference that will be held at the Yvonne Scarlett Golden Center. The conference is designed to promote personal leadership and ages 11 to 18 who live in Volusia County. The local community leaders organized the conference in response to the film, the Push Out film, a documentary highlighting the criminalization of young women of color. The lead organizers, myself, Dr. Sadie McConnor, shared her thoughts with the local, I've shared my thoughts with a local group of leaders early in August when we said documentaries and discussions should promote and inspire action. Talking will not change anything. This sparked conversation on what could be done to help young women know their worth and identify pathways to success. The conference is designed with exciting workshops addressing individual and community wellness, fulfilling aspirations for career and college, community and policy advocacy, financial literacy. There'll be giveaways, photography, learning, and more. Parents of attendees will be participating in a parent cafe in the theater room of the beautiful Yvonne Scarlett Golden Center. Parent Cafe is designed to help parents explore social connections, build resiliency, and gain knowledge about parenting resources through fun conversation. It's going to be a day for development for young women and parents alike. All of this is made possible through sponsors such as the Exploring Gifts and Graces, Bethune-Cookman University, Triple Fit Inc., Vogue Elite, Stargazer Foundation, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Daytona Beach Alumni Chapter. And also via Commissioner Reed through the city of Daytona Beach. She was able to make sure that we had the building, the Yvonne Scarlett building. She's already done that for us. The return of the investment when we support and develop our youth and enhance their confidence in themselves cannot be measured. Event registration is still open and sponsorships are still available through October 14th. People interested in sponsoring or attending the conference can contact myself at sbmdelta@gmail.com, or you can reach me by phone at 386-214-9745. And today on my radio show, Your Best Life, Joy 106.3, I also talked about baby safety, and I got the Daytona Beach Fire Department speaker. She was there, and we're also having information tables, and she plans on having an information table there as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Do you have she gave us
Yes,
the
we passed
documents
out,
already.
we passed out the, so if you know of any middle school girls, high school girls, you can scan, just save the date, you can scan the code, and they can register. So we're really urging
Now,
for them
when
to
we come as
register.
parents
Thank
and
you.
grandparents, what do we have, to just sit out?
No, you
It's
come
just
to
for
the
girls?
cafe.
How
You
does
can
it
come-
work?
you can come for the
We go
parent
and
ca-
sit in the cafe?
Parent cafe, yeah, you can sit at the parent cafe and talk
Mayor
about.
Henry, the Parent Cafe, they're guided conversations, and they really help families build resiliency, understand what the protective factors are. So it's really designed for everyone.
Okay, so the girls go off and they get their
They do the workshops.
massaging and their work.
No, there's no massaging.
Massage.
I'm like, there's no massaging going on. No. We're going to talk about mental wellness.
Yes.
We're going to talk about conflict resolution. We're going to talk about policy advocacy, and financial literacy, nutrition, because this month is also childhood obesity. And as that lady spoke about public health. So we're talking about those things with the girls.
And October 11th is National Indigenous Day.
Do we have a copy of?
Yeah, you have to, it's been passed out.
Okay, I'm gonna be supporting this.
Okay,
And what Dr. McConnor didn't say is we're really trying to raise some funds so we can serve lunch to these beautiful young ladies.
Yes.
How many of them you expect?
We're expecting 100.
And how much are you needing to,
We need about 800 to feed all the girls.
And Sadie, it's free for the girls, correct?
Yes, it is. It is definitely free for the girls. They're not paying, they get bags. They actually, the Department of Health, Volusia County, has donated, they're purchasing the book. They're giving a copy of the book to each and every one of the girls.
They'll get beautiful
giving a copy of
photography
what
done.
The Department of Health for Volusia County has sponsored, they're sponsoring they paid for the book, Push Out book. It's called the Push Out, the documentary. Yeah, the actual book. There was a documentary, but there was also a book, and they're getting a copy of the book. Yes.
How can we help you to get 200 girls?
Get the word out.
I guess you have to get, because we've got all these other mentoring programs that we've joined in. We've contacted Child's Academy. We've contacted Campbell Middle. We're trying, we've put Preston, boy, we've
But we can do 100 now, and we could do 100 more in the spring, because this will be the first time.
Okay.
And for it to be,
You want it
intimate.
tight. Y'all want it nice and tight.
Yeah, and want to do it right. You know how you like to do it
I
right.
hear them talking. This is a lot of work, y'all.
Y'all just want 100? That's all you want?
I think 100 the first time would be very nice. That would be very nice.
Okay, so how can we help you to make sure you get 100?
We need to help me with the publicity.
Social media.
Social media publicity.
Because she's actually sponsored, so the city will put it
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yes, thank you, because you,
And then Commissioner Henry just donated.
if you didn't help us with the fire, we wouldn't, could get.
How much did you need for lunch?
Okay.
800?
But I'm also going to,
Okay.
I'm sorry?
I'm gonna donate the other 300
For the meal.
for the,
And 3, that's for
Okay.
8.
okay?
Okay.
But I'm also going to come up with something that I want them to have.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, we appreciate that.
So I'm going to add 200 to that, so it's a nice even amount, but I would like to be able to come to the event
You can come.
and chat with the girls. I would love to have a conversation with the girls.
And we're
Cool.
having, we're going to have like an inter-religious prayer, because we're having a rabbi, a speaker from the Muslim Center, and we have Dr. Governor that's also from Bethune-Cookman. So we're having a prayer at the very beginning and welcome the girls. So and the Yvonne Scarlett is a beautiful building. We've even had the decorations being donated by event planners. So all the women that have been involved in planning this, I've been spearheading it, but everybody's a volunteer. They've all just been given their time.
So what's going on in the cafe for the adults? Because I'm gonna have to be in the cafe. The adults gotta be in the cafe. So are they being,
And Dixie actually is donating. She paid for the hours for them to be in the theater room, and she's also doing it. So everybody's been.
I'm
doing it.
co-facilitating it with Beatrice Gilbert, who is from Daytona Beach, and it is really an interactive way for us to ask questions of ourselves, of how we build protective factors in our homes, in our lives, and in our community. And so it's a guided conversation at each table, and then you switch tables. It's kind of like a game, but you really get to know people from your community, and you get to talk a little bit about how to build a strong family.
Just want to
That
say
excites me.
really quick. Crystal has just said that if I sponsor, she can do the Red Lobster pregame feeding. So I don't know if you know what the Red Lobster pregame feeding is. Crystal, you can come up and tell them, because she's responsible for that for the Mainland football team.
Okay.
And so that's awesome.
I'm the parent over Mainland Football Program Parent Association, and what we do for the football team every Friday is we sponsor a Red Lobster meal where we do chicken pasta, grilled shrimp, fried shrimp, rice, broccoli, salad, and the famous Amos Red Lobster biscuits. So we feed about 100 to 50 coaches, trainers, players, and they get a really good meal. So I'm going out to pay for the meal tonight. I will talk to my manager and see if we can do the same thing. We normally spend about $500 and something, and we get all of that. We get about 8 pans of everything, and we see if we can do that for you. And it can be.
I'm coming to eat.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
No.
The other thing that's going to be there is it's called a 360 photography. So letting the young women, with any extra money we have, we'd really like to send all the young women home with a photo of themselves to show them how beautiful they are. And so it's really a day for young women to, build their confidence and know that the community really cares about what happens to them and teach them how to advocate for themselves.
And we have a guidance counselor from Seabreeze High School that is, she's doing the workshop on college and career. So each workshop has a presenter and a facilitator. The presenter is the more seasoned individual, and the facilitator is a young lady between the ages of 11 to 18. So we definitely have them involved as well.
All right, so, and you sign up, they have a place on the website, they just scan and sign up.
They scan this code, and that asks you, gets you registered, helps us with the waiver as far as taking pictures, and also helps us with the waiver as, COVID safety, and tells us about though when you scan it, it asks you all these questions to register. Okay, with your diet as well, because there's some people that might be allergic to this or that, and we will, obviously we don't want to expose. Yeah.
And I would like to learn about your,
The Parent Cafe?
the parent,
Yes.
we may be able to do something.
So it was actually designed.
Always massage it.
It was
That's my
designed
word,
as a
please.
result of a study done by Dr. Folletti and the Kaiser Permanente and Centers for Disease Control called the Adverse Childhood Experiences Study. And what it did was it discovered that we all face adversity. It doesn't matter where we come from or what kind of income we had, we all face adversity. And so the protective factors or the mitigating ways that we can still overcome that adversity. And so the CSSP, or the Center for the Study of Social Policy, worked with parents in Illinois, and those parents actually created their own agency called Be Strong Families. And that's where all the materials for the Parent Cafe comes from. And there's actually a video. I can send you a video link. You can see how a cafe works. I will.
Okay, you and I have to talk. Your number's still the same?
Yes.
Cell phone?
My
Because
cell number.
I would like to.
Massage that.
Well, no, I'm semi-retired. I transitioned out of my role at Healthy Start. Sorry about that. We keep our sense of humor.
Gotta have a sense of humor. I would like to partner and add that to a workshop that I'm building on with the staff that's gonna be called Basketball Through Life Lessons Through Basketball. So it's gonna be a clinic for basketball, but then it's gonna be teaching the participants about life through the values of basketball or the language that you use in basketball. But I also would like to have something for the parents that sounds like that's it right there. Okay.
We did it at Campbell Middle School, and everyone said parents don't show up, they won't get engaged. 78 parents came to that cafe. It was the biggest cafe I've ever done, and it was really fun. And it's a great way to get to know your community it's a great way to just, ask some pretty poignant questions like, how do I bring joy to my child's life? And why does it matter who comes in my home that my children
I'm
see me
excited because I
associated
want
with?
to see it done in all of the schools. We must talk. These are the things that are going to help eliminate some of the demographics that she described earlier. Because you give people hope when you give them understanding about how to improve their lives. And you and I have always had a kindred drive. You know that from.
But we don't talk at parents. Parents talk to each other. They're the experts on their own home and their own children.
So, Ms. Marguez, you mentioned the ACEs, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You should share with them how the ACEs are directly linked to health and welfare. They actually have numbers by Kaiser Permanente documenting how stroke and cardiac disease and different illnesses are linked to how you score on this, but that there are ways that you can come around it as well.
Right.
And this would really impact the community. It's not even whether or not you experienced true abuse in terms of graphic horror. It's what's going on in the home that makes a difference, or how you perceive it. So it's a very important study.
Yes. Yes. And, we know things like cortisol, if people's brains are functioning from their fight or flight center of their brain, it's really hard for them to regulate and, be able to accomplish the things that they want. But there are ways to overcome adversity, and we all do it. Some of us have more protective factors than others do. But if we have strong social connections in our community, if we really build on our resilience, we learn how to cope with bad things that happen. I'd love to do community-wide yoga where parents can learn how to breathe and they can learn how to just stop and reflect a little bit. We go, go, go.
You want to be partly retired, but you got some things that I want to see.
Okay.
You're going to send us a copy of the link?
Yes.
And this study, will I have, can you send me that?
I can send you a lot of information about that.
Just
I
send me
know
the study.
Juanita,
Don't give me
Commissioner
too
May
much.
can too.
Just give me one thing I can say, this is what I got to read.
Yes, I
Okay?
will do
You
it.
have to read this.
I will do it.
Okay.
Reader's Digest version. Thank you very much. I
And
really
Mr. Mayor,
appreciate
before
all your
Dixie
support.
and Sadie leave, we have also been in discussions about infant mortality in the 3211, so we need to talk about that next.
Yeah.
But we're doing the girls first.
Yeah.
Okay?
Because I want.
That's where it all starts, right?
Conference on that.
Yes.
Came up with a name and everything, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Man,
Thank
I'm
you.
about ready
Thank
to
you.
run around, man. Y'all got me excited. Talking down my street. Okay.
Our next speaker is Marjorie Johnson, and on deck is Sophia Dallas. Ms. Johnson, you're up.
Marjorie Johnson, 122 South Key Street. I'd like to commend our city manager and Ken Strickland. They're the best that this city has. Ken, you're doing an outstanding job with that homeless shelter, and I'm so proud of you. And I would like to say, city manager, they paved in front of my house there on Keith Street. They came through there, this paving that you hadn't done in the city of Daytona Beach is commendable, because a lot of those streets had been neglected for many years. But you have come in here and hit the ground running. So have you, Ken Strickland. It's so good to have someone that we have access to. And I have a meeting with you tomorrow so that we can discuss some of the issues that need to be resolved here in this city, because we don't have that. We've had a problem here as far as, and I heard the mayor bragging tonight, we don't have access to our mayor or our commissioner from Zone 6, Paula Reed. And she's missing in action. There's a lack of communication. Libby Coleman couldn't be here tonight. There are many people calling me saying, oh, why we don't have access to our commissioner? I say, well, it's a disgrace, but it is what it is. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. You are here to do the people's work, and we need more people like Ken Strickland, the best of the best, and our city manager, who's the best of the best. And I was glad that I was able to work on your campaign, Ken, and get you in the very seat that you're sitting in. You have come out and made me so proud. The same thing with you. I got here at 3, I stayed to 11. I advocate for you to get in that job because it was taken all night. So we have to put people in office who are accessible and productive to our constituents. And that's what we look at. So I'm on 3 boards over at the county level. I work with Dixon Mortgage right here on one of those boards, the Children's Services Board, the Human Services Board, and now I'm on the library board. So I'm getting people's books in the library. So if you have a book, city manager, you want me to get in the library, I'll get it there in the library at Keith Street, Port Orange, because we want people to know about our heroes and our sheroes who are making things happen here in the city of Daytona. And so I said to you, Mr. Hendry, I advocated and got you in the very seat that you're sitting in, special election. That's how you got here. So I'm just saying, each one reach one. So I'm reaching out and touching everybody in the community, and we need to make sure we keep people in office. And Ken, I need to have a meeting with you, because I need to go over some. I have appointed you as my commissioner. Yeah, I'm gonna, no. Okay, you can come. We want the best in this meeting, the best of the best. So I say to all of you, I say to all of you tonight who are doing good work here, keep up the good work. We're so proud of you. Proud of you, Kenneth Strickland, and you, City Manager Derek Fisher.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Our next speaker is Sophia Dallas, and on deck is Ted Hordecki.
Good evening, everyone.
Hey, Paula.
Mayor, City Manager, and all the commissions, you all know who I am. Sophia Dallas, CEO, founder of Sisters Supporting Sisters. I want to give a big shout out to Danette, Paula.
Great job.
You too, Mayor Henry. You came on in there, you know. And so we are having the Breast Cancer Gala, which is going to be October 1st, next Saturday at the Midtown Center, where there's going to be a fundraising event, silent auction, entertainment. Those that are familiar with Amy Elise Reed, she's going to be our band singer. And one thing that I want everyone to remember, those that did make this possible and contributed to this organization. Each and every one of you commissioners has a constituent in your community that is suffering from cancer. And I am thankful. One thing my grandmother Rosalie Woods taught me, and if you've been at the city long enough, you know her. She gave you your job at the front in that paper, that application to fill out. We have to work as a community. We have to work as a village. And it takes everyone on this commission to make things possible. And so that's why I came to you back in July. That's why I came back again last month. And that's why I'm back again today. To say thank you, because that's what I was raised to do, but let everyone know it's not just on one person or another. Cancer has no name, it has no color, it has no zone, but it is in everybody's zone. And so when you have something like this that has never transpired in this community before, it takes the village. You are the village. I see your ticket, girl. And you are the village. So if you're not helping build the village, you're not a part of the solution. So take it as you may, but you understand what I'm saying. It takes all of us. I did a lot of work and I put forth a lot to make this happen. I sacrificed a lot because I wanted it to happen. Because we look at now, if you don't understand, women of color, and our organization services all women. The majority of my clients are Caucasian, but the Black woman is #1 for breast cancer. We're high at triple negative. We have the highest mortality rate. So yes, my focus group is the Black women, but I serve all women. All women. And they're in each and every one of your zone. So anything that you did to help facilitate this gala, give yourself a hand clap, because it would not be possible without your help. And I appreciate everything that each and every one of you do. Those that have the ability to come out, please purchase a ticket and come out. Because it is going to be a nice time for adults to go to somewhere in this community and enjoy an event that has never transpired.
Good job.
You have a blessed
Good
evening.
work. You too. Good work. Thank you.
Okay. Our next speaker is Ted Hordecki, and on deck is Rhonda Williams.
My name's Ted Hordecki, 113 Braddock Avenue. The reason I'm here today, I do work for code enforcement. I help people
Yeah, you do.
fix their problems. And been running into a lot of senior citizens who are really shut in. They got all the blinds closed. They're in wheelchairs. And a couple times with the code enforcement guys, I don't go in anybody's house. The door's open and they're living in horrific conditions. And I sent an email to Mr. Fiacher, and he said that they tell people to dial 211. And then the deputy manager sent me saying, well, we have people who turn over employees. We should send out an email. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I hear a lot of stuff here. Now, we send these out. We just had another 1,000. We give thousands of these away. We give them the Captain Lee hands them out to the police department. We give them to Beach Patrol. Who else do we give them out to? Well, we give them out to a lot of people. Then they make copies. And on this sheet here, we have people work on this. All the free services in Volusia County. Mental health, housing, Monday through Friday, where you could get food pantries or a hot meal. And what it is, I believe that when these people get their utility bill, the city, because my understanding is this information should come from the city manager in the city, not me giving somebody and they make copies and they hand them out. And the police officers were giving these out when Captain Lee was around. But I call them cheat sheets. It's everything mental health, housing, seniors, kids. And somebody could look at this and you empower them because they don't call 211. They're worried about somebody's going to come do something to them. You know, they just don't interact well. And I get a lot of calls from commissioners and whoever. Where could we go and help? Where can we get food? Who's got food in Midtown? And they're calling me, and I think, you know, I could do so much, but that kind of information, I believe, every quarter should go into the utility bill. If you know somebody that needs help, give this to them. Make a copy, give it to your neighbor, give it to the children, whoever. This is, you help yourself with these numbers on here. And with city resources, I thought, get some COVID money and have somebody really do a list and then post it on the city website. What is your need? Housing, food, medical, dental, funeral service. I mean, we try to cover a lot, but I'm sure the city could come up with a better sheet of resources that somebody could actually get in their bill, utility bill.
So can we take that right there and put it on, have a page for that, sort of like a web page? It was a part of our website. We may already have something.
But maybe we could, as a community, all the people that are watching or whoever knows of another food bank or another, but these are very helpful. I mean, you could, no matter where you're at in the city, you can go here and most of the days of the week, you can go get food, clothing, toiletries.
Who made that?
Lady of Lords Veterans Group.
Okay, I'd like to have a copy of that. Could I?
Will you give that to the clerk, or the assistant clerk, and we'll make
But we
copies
could
of it?
improve on this.
Let me ask you another question. Because you're an unsung hero and you don't like credit. And you don't need credit, and you're part of what makes this community great. And that's, you're not here for yourself. Do you have some sort of agency that you work through that helps you to do what you do, or you just do it?
But we work with them all. We do hum.
No, how do you?
They just call me.
People just, I know, they just call him.
Because they know we're going to get it done.
In some way that we can, he's doing a lot of, people, you may not know this, but he's helping a lot of people.
Well, and I got a lot of help.
You can't just keep helping people without some mechanism to help you help.
Sure you can. Until people decide to help.
Well, yeah, but you're right. You're right. You can, but you might. My question is, I'll call you. We have to figure a way, and I was supposed to call you 6 months ago.
Yeah.
give us that so that.
Yeah, but I mean, we can improve on this. We have a retired commander from the Navy who came and spoke about the rec center that puts time in on this. But we can improve, because I know there's things that are out there that aren't on this sheet. So I thought maybe we could put on the website that if you know where somebody could get food, help with their utility bills, they could post it on a website. You know what I mean? Something like that. But we do clothes, we got haircuts. I mean, there's people, basic toiletries.
How do you fund your home repair services? How do you fund those kinds of things?
Code enforcement calls me.
Okay. And then, right.
Somebody has this, and that.
And then when you get that call, where do you get the supplies for all that?
We get them from donations or whatever. Usually it's paint, lawnmower, cut trees down.
Yeah, but I have for years wanted to have someone like you that the whole community could rally behind and help.
Yeah, well, there's.
And you just showed up and started doing it, but we need to figure out how we help you, get more people to help you.
Well, we got people. We did a hoarder. I'm gonna tell you, we got 80 hours in there. The guy was a hoarder. We were out there for 80 hours, 100 hours. We got him a lawyer.
To the mic.
Back to the mic.
We got him a lawyer, then we got him a real estate agent to get him a house. The community comes out. I mean, we had moving trucks out there.
I believe the suggestion would.
That was in Zone 3.
He's kind of got to
Got his own thing, all right.
Mm.
If you got a 501c3, the city may be able to assist you through their bike week
Or just
donation.
other people.
Well, we're not a 501c.
I know.
But we partner with B&W. We do a lot with HUM, the family shelter out there. Like if they have HUM can't give out, they're not supposed to give out food. And certain things they can't do because the community don't want them to do it. So they'll call us and they'll say, hey, I got 80 cases of bacon or this or that or clothes or whatever. We go over there, we get it, and then we find out who needs it. We work with, what is that food source off of North Avenue? Second Harvest. We do shopping for HUM, and then we, do other things in the community. We can get in there and get food. Because, there's tons of food that every month go to the hog farm.
Yeah.
Because HUM has got so much food and people don't get it fast enough. The guy from the hog farm comes. Now, see, I believe that tons of food every month somehow should get processed better and give it out. Who's that? 7-Eleven, Gordon's Food, U.S. Foods, they come out with tractor trailers and stuff. And they can't move it fast enough, and so it goes to the hog farm.
Okay. You're right.
For that bacon thing.
Yeah.
90 cases.
The health lady.
Somebody wants bacon.
They gave us 200 pizzas, frozen pizzas, so we gave them out on Thanksgiving. But the Greek church gives us food after the festival. But, there's a lot, but the city should have something. And actually, a policy, a list like that, should be out here on the counter. You have any kind of, the commissioner goes to a community meeting, they can hand these out and say, oh, you have a food desert here. This is where you go get fresh vegetables.
We're going to take the one that you have and we're going to work on that and we'll add to it and we'll bring it in as a part of our material and our supplies.
And that's another thing. All these organizations, like getting somebody, I got somebody in the shelter who graduated and now they're living out in New Smyrna. And a lot of these organizations don't even, I was given these organizations that are supposed to be doing something a list because they said they're not talking to each other. They don't communicate. So all these resources go to waste because everybody's got a different agenda.
That's true. All right.
Or the bureaucrat.
Yep. You're right. He's right. Bureaucrats. He's right. All right. Well, yeah.
Our next speaker is Rhonda Williams, and our deck is Jenny Nazak. She's been patiently waiting.
Good evening. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Mayor Henry, City Manager Fiacha, Commissioners. Thank you for having me. My name is Rhonda Williams. I hear the address being given, so I'm giving my address 328 Grand Preserve Way. And I'm here representing the Lab Career Development and Training Center. It is my a nonprofit that I established I used to work at Goodwill Job Connection Center, and it has since been closed down. I heard they went virtual. But what it is a training center to help youth and adults with career development and training. And since I started working on this, I've just been approved to become a vendor as well with Boat Rehab. I've worked with persons with disability to help aid them and support them in finding jobs as well. And I'm asking for financial assistance and community assistance with this project, with this training center, because we have to get our youth trained to find employment. I work now with AMI Kids Volusia as a career coordinator, and we have 12 to 17-year-olds, and the majority of them do not know what a resume is or what a resume is for. They do not know, never heard of a job fair. So what I'm creating is a job fair prep for them to get them prepared. First, we need to find out what they want to do in life. They don't know. So I created this organization to help our youth get prepared for a career. So I'm asking for assistance with this for startup costs, for marketing, advertisement, for incentives for the youth to, because it's a volunteer program, with electronic devices to help them fill out the applications, because all of the applications now are online. A lot of them don't have access to computers, to iPads and different things like that. So I am asking for support for this, my endeavors with this organization.
Okay, do you have a 501c3?
I do, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Or just send it to us.
I didn't know I needed that, but after listening to everyone, I'm asking for $5,000 to help with the startup costs, to help purchase electronic devices, or if someone would like to donate these items, it would be greatly appreciated.
Okay. So if you can give it to, you have paperwork, that you can give it to.
The 501?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll follow back up with it with the finance department.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Our next speaker is Jenny Nazak, and on deck is Doyle Lewis.
Good evening, everybody. Jenny Nazak, 501 Harvey. This meeting, all these people speaking tonight have just been an example of how great our city is. And I'm so in love with Daytona Beach, really. My hoodie is like a tribute, a micro tribute to our city. I had to clean out my t-shirt closet. But anyway, so I hope you all have been enjoying the rain that we have been getting after a hot start to the summer. And tonight, for your pleasure, I have a mini pop quiz just for fun. Stormwater and you. Question number 1. Approximately how many gallons of water runs off a 1,000 square foot house's roof in a 1-inch rain event? A, 60 gallons. B, 250 gallons. C, 600 gallons. If you guess 600, you guessed right. Ding, ding, ding. Where the heck does it all go? Well, it runs off, and it causes flooding in the low-lying areas. So, question 2. Which of the following are examples of ways for a homeowner or business to catch stormwater and allow it to percolate slowly into the ground rather than running off-site and causing flooding in the low-lying areas and on the roads. A, cisterns and rain barrels. B, healthy soil containing a good amount of organic matter. C, plenty of trees and plants with healthy root systems. D, all of the above. And of course, yeah, so my little quizzes are meant to be entertaining rather than taxing on the brain, and they're meant to be memorable. I was very sorry that the last gorgeous concert of the summer got rained out. I always enjoy seeing all of you in the wild at a park and trying not to accost you about city business. But, anyway, I hope you all have a beautiful evening. Thank you all for being you. Oh, Ken, my fellow Beachside resident, it's been such a joy to see you blossom as a commissioner. Keep up the beautiful work with everybody. Love you all. Good night. Good night.
Good night, Jenny. Our next speaker is Doyle Lewis, and on deck is Ann Ruby.
It seems to be raining lately. Got my umbrella. My name is Doyle Lewis, Daytona Beach, United States. This has been a good meeting. I have like 3 things I want to talk about. Mason Avenue. It connects with Seabreeze. We're talking about accidents and danger. We need to look at the time that these accidents are happening, if it's during the day or during the night. I was just on the bottom of the bridge on Mason Avenue by US 1 one night, and a motorcycle came flying by on one of his wheels. At the light of the intersection, he hit the back of a vehicle. He went on to his next life, but he landed in the car that he hit. So if you look at the time of the accidents, let's see if it's at night or at day and what's going on there. Because at night, the people seem to speed. They really speed coming out of the bars, heading west. So that needs to be checked and seen about how to direct how it needs to be redone. I believe to do the best design is to find out how many accidents happened because of a speeder going west. Because they come out of those areas over there when they've been partying, even during the day, and they speed. So that would kind of tell you which way you need to work on it most. Is it on the east side or the west side when you're heading either way? That's got to be part of the study. Coming off that bridge, somehow we're going to need to slow them down because it's real easy just to be speeding. That's my number one thing I want to talk about tonight. Now, the second one came up with the yard waste. Now, that's all over the place because even I see the yard waste, and I'll stop and clean up the yard waste because people don't know how to stack it. They'll make too big of a pile, and that's what they're doing wrong. If you make multiple piles, it's easier to pick up. You can also use 2 different addresses if you get along with your neighbor. I've seen it. One neighbor will have a lot of yard waste 1 month, and the next neighbor will have a lot of yard waste the next month. I've seen it happen. Number 3, Ken, you're awesome. You are awesome. You're right up there first, step shelter. That's great. That's great. I knew that place was going to make it, and thank you. My name is Doyle Lewis. Thank you. Have a great night.
Ann Ruby, 137 Park Avenue. I want to thank Ted
for his boundless energy and his boundless big heart. He's just an amazing asset to our community, Ted Hordecki. And I know everybody up here is singing his praises right now, but he really, there needs to be something very specific that happens as a result of this. It can't be just, we're going to do this. That flyer that you have, there's nothing in the employee handbook right now that guides employees to say, if you go to a door, if you see someone, a resident in distress, what do you do? And I think we need to make sure that the employees, everybody who interacts with the public, knows how to deal with that, knows how to help refer people to services, even if it's just handing them that brochure. But I think we need to make sure that it's not just a pie in the sky, we're gonna do it. If you really want to be serious about the city helping Ted do everything he does, or take some of the burden off of him, then a good thing to do would be have a city ombudsman. Somebody that city employee could just call, have the city maintain that list of resources. It's a full-time job. It's not something you can tack on, and the people at Lady of Lords do a fantastic job of it. But like Ted said, there's probably resources out there that we don't know about, that they don't know about. And I think if we're going to be serious about supporting Ted and every great thing that he does, we're going to need to approach it seriously, and it has to be more than just Ted is great, we'll take this on. Because it should be in the employee handbook. If a code officer goes to a door or a first responder goes to a door, there should be someone they can just turn it over to. They shouldn't have to go home and stress about how horrible the living conditions are that they're seeing in homes. So I hope that in support of Ted, you will all take it and do something that will actually help the city provide those resources. One of the things we're hearing increasingly in public comments are all these people coming up, they have great ideas for things to help the community. It's wonderful, but our social safety net is shredded. It's just shredded, and we have individuals, like everyone who's come up here tonight with their nonprofits and Ted, wanting to make things better, but a shredded social safety net is very hard to rebuild and reweave on an individual basis. And I'm just leaving you with that cheery thought for the night. Thank you very much.
I'd just like to say one thing. That pamphlet is amazing. Ted does do a lot for the community, and he actually, when I was running for office, gave me that pamphlet, and we've used it at all of our veteran organizations, and it's helped a lot of veterans around Volusia County. So, and I would like to say thank you.
I think our job is to help with the list, but it's not to take over the list. It's to help, but not take over. But I also think that she's on to something. There needs to be, as a part of employee training and teaching, you inform all employees who interact with anyone that this is a resource and a tool, because I guarantee you 60 or 70% of those things on that paper, I'm not aware of them. And I get calls and emails about things, and many times I don't know where to turn. And I do have resources sometimes that other people don't have, and people that I can call and say, will you help this group or this person with their rent or with things? But that has limits. So, but the sheet is good. Do we have any other comments from the commission?
I just want to say, Mr. Mayor, that we are doing some of that, but I do believe in formalizing it more, as you have said, and so has Ann. Because today I got an email from code enforcement on a person that they wanted me to assist. He was on the borderline of my redevelopment area, so redevelopment couldn't help him. And they said, well, we'll write Commissioner Reed and see what she could do. And it's an elderly gentleman who can't help himself, so we're trying to figure out how we could help him, because we don't have a direct pay method. I was like, well, can I donate the money to redevelopment and they take care of him? So we are looking at these things, and we are saying, if we see something, say something.
Okay. All right. It is a great day to be among the living, and it is a great day to be a resident of Daytona Beach. Every day. Good night.